What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. I be getting into it, man. I love that beat. What's good, y'all? Sixth element of hip hop. I'm your host, Reno Noir. My co-host over here, Stu Dog, and we got our guests in the building, Black Heroes Club. What's good, guys? How y'all doing?
Good, great. Is it technically a 4-day weekend or a 3-day weekend?
3-day, because we got Labor Day. Monday is off.
I always count Friday because, like, when I would get off school, I'm like, all right, so I got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I got Monday. Oh, that's 4 days. But
if you count Friday, which a lot of people do, I mean, I do, because after work Friday from that whole night.
If it's on a Monday, the correct explanation was if it's on a Monday, it's a 4-day weekend because you take that Friday. And then you party that weekend, and then that Monday is when you rest and you go back that Tuesday.
Exactly.
If it's on a Monday, but if it's on a Friday, you only got 3-day weekend. And if it's on a Thursday,
I count Thursday. In that case, I count Thursday as Friday.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Friday, right. Yeah.
That's funny that you say that.
Like everybody said it with the 4th of July.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny because if it falls on a Friday, it's really only a 3-day weekend. But if it falls on like that Monday, oh yeah, it's 4 days. Which again is like it's kind of the same amount technically.
Right.
Technically, exactly.
It
Original Origin. Stu, did you know that original? Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, bro.
No, good. Original Origin what?
Oh, Original Origin. We were talking about the intro. Original Origin is the guy that made the intro for this show. I don't know if y'all knew that. He used to be Ali. Yeah, he used to be Ali ALC.
Oh,
remember
that's
Ali?
Ali. Yeah. I remember Ali. Yeah. All right. Original Origin. He changed his name. All right.
Yep.
Peace,
I was talking to my Instagram the other day. I was like, "Yo," we were chopping up. I'm like, "Wait a minute. So you're Original Origin now?" I'm like, all this time we've been talking Original Origin. I ain't know that was Ali. All this time, I've been like, man, whatever happened to Ali?
Not knowing who it was, right? We know that was, Ali. Yeah,
I've been like, whatever happened to Ali?
Ali, you like a special, Ali, you like a special guest here on the channel, man. Like, in the chat,
you part of the team and shit. Yeah,
we ain't know it was you. You gotta
created the intro, so he's working on a new intro.
Identity. That's like a
Yeah, he's gonna be working on a new intro for us too. Yeah, very excited, man. Very fucking excited about that. That's gonna be dope. Speaking of excited, I want to jump right into this because my homeboy at Vintage Rush, we talk about him before we get into the show and all that. I really want to throw the spotlight here on my dog because there's been so y'all know I collect these shirts. I hope you guys collect these shirts. They're fucking beautiful and spectacular. Really amazing quality and everything. I'm wearing one now, my favorite one. This was the first one out of the series, the Bishop. Check it out. Matter of fact,
that's dope.
Matter of fact, watch this.
Yeah, that looks good, bro.
And what's so dope, I mean, it's not just you'll never see this at Walmart. You'll never see anybody else walking by you with it. No one else is going to have this shirt. They don't sell it at the store. This image isn't even on a t-shirt. You see this right here, these the Japanese lettering right there. This image actually comes from the inside cover of the X-Men manga, where they made the X-Men, the animated series, into a manga in Japan. And every inside of every cover has an image like this with a different character. And so my man at Vintage Rush over there, he decided one day to slap one of those images on a shirt. And it was this one here, Bishop. And he just has not stopped. They've been wildly popular. They've been flying off the shelves. You can't even keep them in stock. In fact, check this out. So we got right now we got the Bishop, we got the Gambit. Check it out. Vintage Rush, y'all. Check these out. The quality is the crazy shit. Cable. Remember, these are inside. Remember, these are customized. You will never see nobody else with this. I can't really. It doesn't really show up because it's a dark material. But the width of the collar line is really thick and like a really nice quality. I love that about a nice T-shirt where the neck is real, snug around your neck and the sleeves are nice and long, come down past your elbows, aren't all, all of this madness and all of that. Like, come on. And the newer one, what the latest one I got was the Colossus, and you can't really tell on camera, but the raised up paint it's like a chrome. It's real shiny like chrome. All the Colossus and also the word X-Men is also in that chrome, sort of that chrome paint. It doesn't really show up well on camera. I can see, but he just now dropped. Okay. In addition to those shirts, he just dropped a Storm. No, he dropped a Rogue, which I missed. Okay, I missed the fucking Rogue. And this is what I'm talking about, y'all. You have to get over here to this website, Vintage Rush, because these do not last. He puts them up. There's a limited number, and that's it. They'll never be made again. He'll never make them again. Nobody will ever copy them again. It's a very honor bound community. They make these shirts. They don't copy each other's work. That's taboo. So when you buy one of these shirts, you're buying a collector's item, and the quality is such that it's gonna last. You can wear it a bunch of times. It's not one of these, like you order online, you wash it one time and it's trash. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So he did a Rogue, he did a Storm, and he's doing this weekend. I believe it's dropped. I believe it's available right now. Y'all can get Wolverine, y'all. So if you haven't gotten one of these yet, you're in luck because they're on Wolverine right now. So you can get a fucking Wolverine, one of these right now, and the image is dope as fuck. Yo, I can't wait to get mine. So I grabbed my Storm, my Wolverine. But the thing is about this, about that Rogue, I missed it, bro. I didn't get it in time. I was, lines were crossed, man. I didn't get to it in time, and I missed the Rogue, man. So that's it. I'll never get that Rogue. You know what I mean? So don't make that mistake, y'all.
Or you could find the person that bought it and then like pay him double for it. But I mean, no, I'm teasing.
No, you're not wrong because in fact, it's not like they make one of them. I think he makes, maybe 100, 200, something like that. But they sell out in days, maybe minutes. I don't know how fast they sell out, but they're gone pretty damn quick.
It's on seconds.
Word. And but they, you know what I'm saying? They're worth it, bro. They're more than worth it. But if you're someone like me that wears graphic tees all the time, you don't want to. I hate when I walk past somebody at the store or something and we got the same t-shirt on. I hate that, bro. I try to hide, bro. I walk down the other aisle. I don't want to see it and I don't want to be seen. You know what I mean? So you never have that issue with these. They're very unique. But
one of a kind,
yeah,
and they dope.
That's
the
dope,
thing,
bro.
they just dope.
At Vintage Rush _. All right, I'm about to go follow him.
yeah, check them out on Instagram at Vintage Rush _. The website is rushxbeyond.com. Can't go wrong. Absolutely cannot go wrong. So we got some other cool mail calls today too. Not today, but this weekend. Check this out, Stu. You're gonna love this. Ooh, the OG.
The
OG.
I've been meaning to get one of those, man. I just finally seen one the other day in GameStop. I just didn't have time to, wait in line to get it. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Hey, bros, how did you feel like they did on the Disney adaptation of it's not Baby Yoda. I forgot. It's not Boba. I mean, what is the name of it? It's on Disney Plus with
Grogu.
Boba Fett.
What?
Mandalorian.
Oh, you talking about Mandalorian? Yeah.
Mandalorian. Yeah. How do you guys like it? What do you guys think of it?
Oh yeah, that's one of our favorites,
We
man.
love it. That's one of our favorite shows.
Yeah. Stu.
All right,
That is
cool.
dope.
So, like for me, like I was hoping to see more out of it. I guess I wanted to see a little bit more action, but
Yo,
then some people,
that's the animated
which
version
one
of it.
do?
That is dope, bro. That's extra. Where'd you get that?
I believe it was Entertainment Earth. Entertainment Earth. The only thing that threw me off is it's Samuel L. Jackson's head on the Clone Wars, character. I wish that it would be a more like, a sculpt that looked more similar to the Clone Wars. I guess I get that, if you're gonna go with a human face, it's got to be Samuel, but I don't know. It didn't quite match, but I got it anyway, and I was so glad, bro. In hand, man, it is fucking dope. And I like the packaging, Stu. I take my figures out, right? But look at
I don't
this.
know if I could take. I don't know if I could take that one out.
Look at the plastic.
That's a
Got
dope
the
package.
bro. It has the image on the plastic, on the clear plastic. It's got the image, and they even put the lightsaber in a way that it's kind of like he's holding it, so it kind of looks cool instead of just having it, just off to the side, standing up or whatever. So you can leave it in display in the box. So I may just do that. You see, he's still in the package. This one might stay in the box.
Hey, my cousin used to buy two. That way, one would be for collection, and then the other one would be to open up and play with.
Right. That's definitely what you can do if you got it like that. That's what you do. But if you a poor bastard like myself, you can't do it like that. Look at
Nah, bro,
this.
you got the money. I like that spawn, bro. I like that spawn.
That's dope. Is that the
But yeah,
two
check
pack
out.
for the bat? Is that the Batman and Spawn
Yeah,
two pack?
yeah, that was the
That's
Batman vs Spawn 2 pack. But it's interesting. First of all, the Spawn, we got to talk about that. Look at the collar.
Wait,
I
wait
mean,
a second. I didn't know that. That's going to be under me. So Batman faced off against Spawn for real?
oh yeah, a couple of times. Yep.
Who who
DC,
did
and
they say won?
it depended on if it was DC or Image. In Image, Spawn won, and in DC, Batman won. They each did one.
I gotta go check out that story. All right, I'm gonna
Oh,
go
yeah,
check
it's
out
not.
that. But
It's
but
super
now
dope.
that you say that, that's what I wanted to talk about was Batman versus Spider-Man and who would win.
Yeah, we definitely gonna get into that.
Yeah, we
Stu,
definitely
look
got
at
this.
the Buster Sword, yo.
That joint is dope.
The Buster Sword reminds me of something Cloud has on Final Fantasy. But I love the cape, man. Compared to my other spawns, this one, the cape is really amazing. And then the Batman. This is a very fucking interesting Batman. I collect Batman figures. Thomas Wayne Batman is one of my favorites. I don't have a Thomas Wayne because I need one with the mask, and I'm not gonna budge. But he's got the pointy shoulders like the Thomas Wayne. You see that?
Yep.
You see
That's
that?
dope. And he's wearing the black and yellow.
All
And
right, so
he's
you're
got the
talking
black
about
and
the
yellow.
Your Thomas Wayne with the red, like he has the bat with the red
Yeah.
encircled. Okay.
Yes, and that's actually, it's Bruce Wayne's father from Flashpoint. But if you look at the head sculpt, it's like Sam Keith. So if y'all know the artist Sam Keith in the comics, he does some Batman, he does some Max, but it's a very Sam Keith style face, and then he's got the really long Nightfall, ears, which I really wish they would have done on the Nightfall Batman. But anyway, it's got a really cool fucking color of gray and yellow. I really like the yellow. You can't see it on camera, but the color is different than all of my other black and gray and yellow Batmans. It's got a really cool tone to it, and I really dig it. And it came with this cool base. Check it out.
Bro, look at all the stuff he has. Yeah, he got money.
You would think so, bro, but it's not. It's a lot of sacrifice and time, man. That's all.
Hey, now we respect the culture and the hustle. Bro. I'm teasing you, but like that's mad respect for it.
Yeah, I know.
My wife would never allow me to have all that. I'm with. She would. You would burn the
Oh,
house. Nah, you're getting rid of all that. Toys,
uh,
comics, wall posters. Yeah, get rid of all that.
divorce is key. You want to have the divorce first. I did, divorce first, then comic stuff. That's usually how you want to do it. Because this definitely would not have gone down during the 23-year marriage to my wife. So
Congratulations. That is what's up, my brother. Like
you figure deal
23
me?
years. Wow.
Oh yeah, 1999.
10 years for me, but wow, bro, congratulations. I love to hear stories like that, man. I know we joke
Yeah,
about the divorce, but 23 years,
it's a
bro,
lot.
what's the secret? What's the secret, man?
Well, the secret is, I mean, we just split up, so I couldn't tell you. Ain't it?
Bro, man, bro, now you got me in my feelings. So you guys split up already? Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, nah, we split up. Long story.
Oh, bro,
And it's like, the love is still there. It's a mutual thing. It wasn't
that's good.
no
That's good. I like to
infidelity or
hear
none of
that.
that. Yeah, it just
Wow,
had to be.
okay.
Had to be. Yo, shout out Metaphysics in the building. Salute. That Mace window is dope. Trying to think. No, it was something else that came too in the mail. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Where is it? Nah, I showed you the Boba Fett. Oh, Nightfall. We got some more Nightfall. Where they at? The John Jang. Did I show you this one?
Nah, that's dope. That's ultra dope.
The John Jang Superman. What you call it? So this is Night Terror Superman. Number 1 by our homeboy John Jang, who's been on the show. He's a phenomenal, my favorite comic book artist, and that's his joint right there. Let me see if I can find the rest. Maybe I don't have them with me. Oh, did I show you this one? Nightwing and Two-Face.
No, that's dope. That's ultra dope too.
Yep, that's Nightwing. Night Terror's Nightwing number 2. What else? I think I showed you that. I know you saw the Black Adam, right?
Is that that's the new one.
Yeah,
That
I
looks
know.
good.
I showed you the Black Adam and the Green Lantern last time,
the Green
and the
Lantern.
Robin.
Yeah, we saw those last time.
Yeah, we
Robin.
saw those. There was some new. There
Back.
was some other ones though. I think I stuck them over here. Yep. Bop, bop, bop. No. No, I don't know. But yeah, at least those came in. But yeah, we got a nice little haul, man. We got a nice little haul the other day. It is phenomenal. Every week, every Saturday. So you guys know this is DC Power Hour. Every Saturday we
Yeah, the
talk
Night Terror.
DC, and we getting into Night Terrors. I think the last 2 shows we've done some Night Terrors reviews. So we got one tonight. Every Saturday until it's over. The event. We'll be talking about some Night Terrors, the latest joint. Man, don't.
Yeah, the main story's been good.
Yeah.
The side stories I haven't really dived too much into. The last one I read was the Flash, or the Flash's
Mhm.
joint, and that was
The
pretty
Batman.
decent, man.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Batman one was good too.
The
I've been
Batman one
picking
is
and
like,
choosing which ones I read.
yeah.
Did you read the Black Adam one?
Now, well, see, I got all these. I got number 2 of everything. Because I pre-ordered them all, and I guess the number 1s had already been sold, and I was just going through on my phone, clicking the dope covers and shit, and they all came, and I realized these are all number 2. So I still have to get the number 1s. So I haven't read it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I ain't gonna read it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I've read some of the like the main, the Night Terrors 1, 2, 3, some of the Batman, the Detective Comics ones, the mainline stories and shit, like you said, not the side joints.
All right.
Yeah, but
Yeah. And for everybody that doesn't know, the main story is the Night Terror. So that's the main storyline. But what they've
Yeah.
done is because everybody in the world is asleep, they branch off into the different heroes and villains, and then they show you their nightmares or their fears or whatever. Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Robin, Nightwing, Black Adam, everybody. So there's nobody that's not affected, except for right now they think Zatanna, Dead Man, and there was one other person. I can't remember who it
Constantine.
was. I think
I
nah,
don't think he's in it.
I think nah, Constantine's
Wow,
not
how
in. If
can
he
you
is, he's
not have
asleep.
Constantine in
Yeah,
there?
and that was a missed opportunity. They really should have had Constantine. He
Yeah,
should have had a book. I don't know why he doesn't have a book. I was like, what? No
me either.
Constantine book?
I
Yeah, that was
know.
odd. But
But
this one
man,
right here, go ahead, Stu. My bad.
no, good. Night Terrors. I was just reiterating, about like, all right, you got right here the main story
Right.
is what I've been following the most because I just think it's phenomenal, man. I haven't read a good comic in a while, and this has been good for me. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like really into it.
This and the stuff that's going on with the mutants right now, Fall of X, it has me completely enthralled, like consumed. And I'm gonna do a show very soon here about mutants, what's going on with the mutants right now, because it's just incredible. This is the bottom half of that comic. This is the top half of the cover, and this is the bottom half of the top half, bottom half. Really fucking dope covers they have. That's one thing they really outdid themselves on with Night Terrors was the covers. But this one right here, that crossover. So basically, the crossover has reached its finale in this one, and led by
Yes.
Deadman and the resurrected Sandman. The Justice League finally gets the chance to face the main villain of this, which is named Insomnia. He's a character made for this. Unfortunately, their efforts, might not be any good because you know what I'm saying, like, armed with they have the nightmare stone, the villain does, and he's already released his living nightmares into the world, right? So in the beginning, like you were talking about, Stu, everybody was asleep and it was their nightmares in their sleep and stuff. Now the nightmares have come out into the real world. The waking world is what they call it. You might
How
recognize
does
that terminology
how
from
does
the Sandman.
Scarecrow fit into this? Does Scarecrow make an appearance?
I don't think there's a Scarecrow one. I don't know
No,
all
there wasn't a
the
Scarecrow
different
one.
side ones. I don't think there is. Um,
They mostly
there's a
Well,
lot
focused
of
on the
there
Justice
there is
League.
a lot of mist in there because Scarecrow was huge with Insomnia. Like I think they did do like a team up back in the day. Scarecrow's fear toxin because Insomnia really enjoyed the fact that Scarecrow's fear toxin could like get a lot of people at once. And I know
mm,
that they told that story where because Scarecrow's fear toxin can infiltrate the water.
you talking about the
You
old
know,
Night Terrors,
yes,
the first Night Terrors? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was different. I mean, this is very different from the old Night Terrors.
yeah.
All
I was
different.
hoping to just see like some new like if they would have brought back some like old stories or like old theories and everything.
Mm. I didn't read the
Because
old one. I don't know too much about it, but I know it's
yeah,
different.
that's what was rubbing me. Like I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I know I've heard these stories or something similar before.
Mhm.
Where?
Yep.
And we
Yeah.
forget that like this was back in the '90s where like they may have only had a few appearances or like they had a few comics for
Nah,
sale.
that's now Black Hand. That's different than what they're doing now. This is a new villain, Insomnia.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is all different shit.
Okay,
Luke.
okay,
Yeah. It's all
okay.
It
different.
was
All different.
Lucas something, but if you read Lazarus, if you read the Lazarus Planet crossover, that's where it all started, and that's where
Ro-
he got his
Yeah.
that's
With
where he got his powers. That's how he was created.
that's like
Um,
with Ra's al Ghul, right? Like they go into the Lazarus pit to resurrect.
Same word. I mean, Lazarus, same
yeah,
thing,
nah, but
but different
yeah,
situation.
The Lazarus Planet crossover was just different, man. Um, we can
You,
go
I'm
into it next
tripping.
week,
I
but
know
we
what
gotta,
you're. Yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
but
I'm tripping.
we gotta move on, yeah, because Because like if you really basically Lucas was given the power to enter other people's nightmares and then manifest them. So if you sleep, you think it's real. Like there's no way you can tell the difference between whether like how Batman would be able to go to sleep or be under somebody's and then he like Jervis Tech had him under his control in the animated series. But Batman was like, I figured out the fact that I couldn't read anything, and reading is controlled by the left side of the brain, dreams are through the right side, and that's how he figured it out. And he was able to overcome it. But in this case, with this guy, Insomnia, they can't do that. Once they're in there and they think it's real. Like it's like the waking world, like sort of like Freddy Krueger or Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's so real and they can't escape. They don't even know it's a dream. So Deadman is the only one that can stop him because he can't. He doesn't sleep. He's dead. So he took control of Batman's body in order to fight Insomnia and keep him from getting the stone. And he obtained the stone anyway, but
Now,
at
now
great
that's a
cost.
good point with the Batman and the Death over. Sorry, um, I'm talking in line and they're looking at me like I'm crazy. So,
Huh.
when Dead Man ended up taking over Bruce, I thought that they were able to share, like for the first time, share that consciousness, or they made it with Batman and Deadman were able to share the consciousness of Bruce's body to get the job done. Because I remember also like he would need Deadman needed a detective to figure out who Insomnia was or like how he was able to get so many people at once. If that makes sense. Now, don't get me wrong. I may be messing this story up. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen it.
That's the old one.
Yeah, that's the old one. Well, in this
And
new
this
one right now, this new one, Night Terror's End. Basically, they uh they were able to stop him, but he was able to manifest everybody's greatest fears about the Justice League onto the world. And right now, a lot of people in the DC are really questioning: Can the Justice League be trusted, or can the Justice League, are they
No,
really
they
here
can't be
doing what they
trusted.
say they?
Hmm.
Right. So that broke the Justice League in ways that Darkseid never could. And we know that they need the whole Justice League just to fight Darkseid. But this guy took them down with just terrors and nightmares. And that's the whole
Mhm.
irony of it. He didn't have to be a big, bad, powerful God in order to do it. He just did it through people's own fears that manifested in their subconscious and the heroes themselves.
Mhm. Mhm. And in this last one, it's called Night Terrors, Night's End. Number one, it
Yes.
sort of brings this whole story a very fitting end. Uh, Defeating insomnia obviously requires sacrifice and understanding, concluding things on a fulfilling note. Uh, but as the story, sort of ends, the story ends, but I think it's setting up something for the future. I think this is not going to be the end of this whole thing. Um, but Night Terror's Night's End number one focuses on superheroes and Insomnia's vengeance upon them. And the story definitely belongs to Deadman and the Sandman. At this point, Deadman, who has been instrumental in this whole arc, when he took over Batman's body in the beginning and all of that, is especially prominent in this year issue. He serves as a direct foil to Insomnia. Like the uh the the polar opposite. So ironically, despite being dead, his name is Boston Brand. He proves himself to be uh very, very life affirming and strong minded in the face of death. And at its core, I think this whole arc, this whole event, Night Terrors, but this issue especially is about dreams, and it highlights what characters most desire and what they fear most. A lot of these were like really horrific, nightmarish, stories. Each character having their worst nightmare lived out. But characters like the Joker, who are already living a nightmarish lifestyle, like their nightmare was living like just working a 9 to 5, like in a cubicle, suit and tie, normal fucking life, like regular asshole. You know what I mean? Like that was his nightmare. That was his worst. You know what I'm saying? So it was very tame and normal to most people. But yeah, it's cool because it's very specific to each character and how they would do. It's not all characters like Scarecrow and Clayface and all the ones that you would expect and Constantine. There's characters like Supergirl, um, and Green Lantern and all these others. So they really wanted to, touch on every aspect of the DC universe. And Williamson really explores this well through the contrast between Deadman and Insomnia. Like I said, they're sort of the cure for each other or whatever. Deadman's willingness to defy his desires for the sake of others contrasts with Insomnia's self-serving, selfishness. And despite his sympathetic backstory, the villain Insomnia is so far gone that he's willing to punish the innocent for the sheer act of just being alive. And
Yes.
Williamson's strong script and great writing, explores the tension between light and darkness and need and desire and nightmare and reality and all these things. And it's all bolstered by Sandman's presence. Because like Deadman, he's a macabre figure of death and nightmares, but this juxtaposes him against Insomnia's true evil. Because I don't know if you guys have ever read Sandman or watched the show or anything.
Yeah, I was just
it-
about to ask that. What does Sandman? All right, so in the comics with Sandman, what are his powers and what's his relationship to the realm of dreams in Night Terrors?
So he's the king. He's the king of the nightmare realm, of the dream realm, not the nightmare realm. Sorry, of the dream world. He's the ruler of the dream world, basically. And the way the story begins is it starts out with him trapped in this glass bubble, and he's trapped by these human or by these living people who
Hey, my bad. Look,
you
you're talking about the Netflix special, like the one they did on Netflix, or you're talking about the comics?
well, they're one and the same. The Netflix is an adaptation, and it's pretty damn close. Like it's a really good adaptation. So if you saw the Netflix, you have a really good handle on what the comics are like, what they're about. You're missing obviously, everything, but you're getting by watching the show, you're getting what the comics are about. You know what I mean? I mean, you're not, obviously they can't fit it all in a show, but so Sandman is this, figure that is very instrumental when it comes to, or very important in the dream world, anything to do with it. So in that case, like, yeah, they did go to the obvious character, but you can't not, you know what I'm saying, with that, with a character like that, and it's gratifying to see these two really dope characters that are pretty obscure. We never see them really getting a chance to shine in this mainstream story event that has everybody involved. And together they sort of bring this arc to a very good conclusion, very satisfying, sacrifices and all. And while their presence doesn't detract from the involvement of the Justice League or their roles in the story, Deadman and Sandman both are star players, main characters that the story, I think, very much needed. And as a result, it's exciting to see them, earn their place in the spotlight because, like I said, they're the more obscure characters. This is something I would, think of like James Gunn doing if they adapted it in live action. But in true horror film fashion, it would be nice to see and maybe an Eli Roth or some new
Hey,
horror
hey, with what you just said, didn't he do that movie Brightburn where he told the story of how what would have happened if Kal-El or Superman would have came to Earth and he would have been evil?
Yeah, bro.
He did that one, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was dope. That was dope. Yeah, that was great. Um, and yeah, it's very. Who you mean? Did James Gunn do that one?
That was
Yeah,
James
did
Gunn.
James?
That
Yeah,
was a
James
James
Gunn did
Gunn joint.
Brightburn.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
seen Brightburn? Like it relates
Oh
because
yeah,
Brightburn is like a anti like what would happen if the hero turned bad.
right. No, yeah, it's fucking phenomenal.
There was
I
supposed to be a
loved
whole
it.
series.
I
That's why at
wanted
the
to
end
see
they
more.
showed you.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was,
that's
and
why at
they
the
they
end they showed
dropped
you
it.
like yeah, they showed you like an Aquaman. They showed you like a Batman. Like they showed you all these different a Wonder Woman type figure. and they were all on Earth, and they were supposed to do a
Like
similar
a
movie for
universe.
each one. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a whole shared universe, and it just never happened. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I
Oh,
mean,
somebody
Yeah,
picks it back up,
it
Netflix or
there's
somebody.
so many things like that in
yeah.
Hollywood that we never know about, bro. So many dope stories. When you're sitting there thinking, man, I wonder why they don't do this movie or that movie. They probably, tried. You know what I'm saying? They probably
Yeah,
was a
like
skit
like
and they
Steel,
blow.
like Superman Steel, like yeah, they tried and it failed, and they'll probably never redo it again.
Oh, you mean the one with Shaq? The Steel with Shaq,
Yeah,
the one with Shaq?
yeah.
Yeah, that
The old classic.
we're not gonna listen. We're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna put that in the box,
Let
and we're
sleeping
gonna throw
dogs
that in
lie.
the ocean. Yeah, we're gonna throw that in the ocean, and we're gonna let that go.
But
Oh,
it is a nice thought to see if James Gunn was to do Brightburn like the whole entire, or if he was to do Night Terrors like he did Nightburn, blah blah blah. If he was to do Night Terrors like he did Brightburn, then there might be a lot of success in the series
Oh,
because
I think
we
Brightburn was
do have a
actually
chance.
legit
We
good.
we do have a chance because DC signed a deal with what is his name, Tim, the guy that did I keep saying Tim Russ, but that's not him. Tim Russ is Star Trek. The one
Bruce
from
Tim.
Tim Bruce Tim.
Bruce
With
Tim.
Bruce Timm's anime company, yeah, they signed a deal where the biggest and best comic books of the year get made into an anime movie like the following year or whatever. So hopefully, keep my fingers crossed that Night Terrors generated enough buzz that we'll get an anime next year. Last year, biggest buzz was War World, and we got the War World anime this year. So
Mm-hmm.
And
hopefully
and
we
I
get
wanted
that.
to make this.
And
Uh, my bad, Stu. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just
no,
wanted to
you're
make
good. No,
that
you're good. I was
statement
done.
going with you. You got to remember that they still had this union strike on actors and creators. So this year we're not going to be able to see a lot of stuff. And I see a lot of content creators talking about, oh, we're going to get the Aquaman 2, or oh, we're going to get the Batman, or oh, we're going to get, the Joker movie. A lot of these movies are going to probably take a lot of time to come out in theaters because production has stopped. The amount of
Yeah.
money that's going into the movies has stopped. I don't even know how Blue Beetle made it out to the box office, but they probably did not finish production before they released that movie. So there's a lot of movies that are going to be coming out and like rumored to exist, but we got to really see what happens with all these actors and creators that aren't getting paid, that are still going on strike. I mean, we may not get something new until 2025.
Yeah, man. We'll have to see what happens with that shit. Sada, what's good? Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Hi,
Shada.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello.
that,
What's the
that
voices
writer's
been
strike
going
is crazy.
on?
Yeah, you been
What did
you
I
been
miss? Did
You
I
missed
miss?
everything. We won
Oh,
the
man.
lottery. We did all kind
yeah.
of stuff, and you wasn't here.
Dang, I missed it. Oh, every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Well, I think this is gonna give Warner Brothers a chance to trash or can the Aquaman movie with
Oh,
this writer strike,
man.
and I think that they're gonna just be like, look, it's just been too long and too many.
Mm.
We're just gonna let it go and chop that up.
I wish
I
they would have
did
did that with
watch.
Flash.
Yeah, they
I
should have
did
canned the
watch.
Flash, and they need to can Aquaman too.
Yeah, they should have canned the Flash. That movie was so
Y'all really?
horrible.
Yeah, it was awful.
Wow.
No, it was so awful. I wish they wouldn't have made it. I wish they would have canned it. Like Flash is my favorite hero. Trash that movie. I would rather watch the CW.
Mm.
The CW, the Flash is my Flash. Like that's the Flash
Mm.
movie for me.
Yeah, that's most people's like definitive Flash is Grant
Yeah,
Gustin.
that's everybody's
So
Flash. That's
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody loves that Flash. Everybody loves the
Yeah.
CW show. Reno, I don't think Reno likes it as much as we do, but Reno's not into the TV
It's not
type
that I don't.
Jones.
Yeah, it's just I
It's just
just
yeah,
don't
it's
watch
the
TV
TV
network.
Jones. Yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
Yeah,
But the
I
Flash
think
TV
for what it
show,
is
that's
though,
the
I
best
think
one.
for what it
Binge
is,
it
I
on
think it's great.
Netflix. Yeah, go binge it on Netflix. You don't have to watch the TV show of
Yeah,
it. Like
bro.
yeah.
just
Yeah,
go on
it's
Netflix and go
good
look
on
up the
Netflix. It's
first couple
good.
of CWs of the Flash.
I
It's
Yeah.
will
wait,
say
don't go
one
see the
thing,
movie.
Reno, the best seasons were the first 3 seasons. They were the best. Everything
Yeah,
Oh,
else was good after that.
Savitar, when
that's
they
how,
when they
that's
showed who
But the best,
Savitar was,
but the
what?
first three,
No.
they were good. The first three were good.
first.
I even get it fourth and a little bit of love too. But them first three, the first two were the best. Like
Yeah, first two I feel like were
the first two
actually
was
the
just
best.
They
the
had
first two would
Gorilla
blow you out
Grodd
the
in the
water.
first two.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
Yeah.
first
wow.
would blow you out the
Yeah.
water, and then the third one is still good, and then the fourth one is still good, and then after that it's
It's
kind of
just
shaky, but
repetitive.
it's watchable. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
watchable. It's shaky, but it's watchable. But
Right.
the first three seasons, those are the ones
I
that
kind of stopped when they introduced XS, like Barry's daughter. I kind of stopped
Oh,
after that.
that was like
You know,
season 4, season 5, I think.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
But
blame
all
you.
the worlds collide and all the
The
Arrowverse,
crossover
like
events,
yeah,
the
the
crossover events
crossovers,
were the dopest. Yeah, those are the
dope.
dopest, and they did one every year. Yeah, they were super dope.
I
Yeah,
mean, like
and I don't.
they had it
Those
where
were more
Flash.
cohesive than the DCEU, so it's great.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we're not trying to hype it up. I mean, like legit, it was actually a good TV
Nah, it was
series.
good. It was. I had to agree with him on that one. It was. But I didn't like Arrow. Everybody liked Arrow except for me. I couldn't
Arrow
stomach
was
Arrow.
great until season 3, and then it just kind of it just went
Yeah,
down.
I think the writers kind of got tired and started writing the same script, or they tried to like put too much in the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
But I still love how they brought out Black Canary. They brought out not Ajax. I forgot old boy's name, but they had Mr. Terrific on there. Yeah, they had Cyborg make an appearance. Oh, they had the Bronze Tiger. Remember the episode where the Bronze Tiger made an appearance?
Yes.
Yeah, they had that.
Yeah. I just didn't like that they made Arrow basically like a diet Batman, like even to the point of bringing Ra's al Ghul in. Like that was absolutely ridiculous. I was like, okay, we gotta stop, guys. We gotta stop.
That's what I don't like about those network shows, man. They'll bring in.
We on the same page on that one, Reno. I hated Arrow. I couldn't stand Arrow. I hated that joke.
How'd y'all feel about Black Lightning?
It wasn't for the crossover events. I would
the animated
not have watched any
Black Lightning was actually like
Black Lightning
it was one of the best CW shows. Like in the Arrowverse, I think it was one of the best. Like one of the most consistently well written. The fight scenes were great. I really, really liked Black Lightning.
I just thought that after a while they focused too much on his daughters, and I thought that.
Yeah. That's exactly
especially and now in the comic, and we say it all the time. In the comic, his one daughter is gay. We know that she's always been gay since creation, whatever the case. But I thought that they put so much focus on that.
Yes, it was too much.
It took away from the core of what they were trying to, get with the writing. Like, all right, we know she's gay. We knew she was gay. Let's move on with our lives. We don't need to make that the center point of the show. Like, that doesn't have to be what the show is about. Like, we can have our issues, but they kind of just put the spotlight on it. And I thought that killed the show for me. I still watched it. And it was thought it was good. But I just thought it was too much.
It was too woke for me too. It started getting too, like, I guess politically, it seemed like, but technically in the comics, Black Lightning does fight Suicide Slum and is predominantly, black.
He does.
But it was starting to become like too woke, where it's like black on black crime. It's like cop shootings, and I was like, I don't mind that. But when I see a superhero TV show, I want to escape reality, not go back into it. I don't want to be woke. I just want to see Black Lightning kick some butt, and let's move on from that.
Yeah, I felt like in the 4th season they were too divided as a team. Also, like that kind of killed it for me. Yeah. Like in their final season, like they weren't really together, and part of that was because of like the drama off camera between the actors. But like it was just it's a lot. Oopsies.
It was a lot. No, you're right. It was a lot. And then the thing with Black Lightning too is Jefferson Davis is not as I don't know. He's more if something like when something bad happens, he lets it get to him. Like normally somebody has to talk him off the ledge. He just lets things just really kind of gets to Jefferson Davis. Like he's not. You have to really kind of like something happens. You got to talk him back down, and he's like, all right, and then he'll come back. But it's still, they never focused on any of that, anything like that. But it was still.
Yeah, exactly. He was a hothead, and even in the comics, I have his comics, and the comics says, he was like gun ho. I love the fact that he never got along with Superman, but like Batman, him and Batman actually get along. But even Batman's kind of like, bro, like you gotta chill, man. Just
Kind of doing the most.
Yo,
Yeah.
Crazy
Crazy
Visions in the
Visions,
building.
what's
Blah,
up?
blah.
What's going on? What's up?
What's good, my friend?
What up,
I'm in the
everybody?
show.
What's
Hello,
good, man? Welcome to
hello.
the show. Welcome to the show.
Yo, I seen it. I was in the street, though. I was like, yo, I got to get in and say what's up at least. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. I
What up?
appreciate you, bro.
How's
Always
everything,
welcome.
though?
Pretty good, man. We about to chop it. So our main topic for the show we haven't really gotten into yet, which is Batman Rogues Gallery versus Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery.
Spider-Man versus who?
We're gonna talk about Batman's villains versus Spider-Man's villains.
Oh, shit.
So
Wait. So not Batman versus Spider-Man, but villains versus villains.
The villains,
Villain versus
I'm going to go with
villain.
Batman villains. They hold a special place in my heart, dog. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
The Joker, Bane, yo.
Yes.
all
I'm
day.
with you on that.
Mr. Freeze.
Hey, I
Oh, yeah,
am
Mr. Freeze.
I am a Batman fan, but if you guys got to check out the roster for like the Superman villains because you got what's his name? Not Bulletproof, but you got a lot of different diverse characters that are going up against Spider-Man. Falcon's granddaughter. Let's start right there. Falcon's granddaughter. I mean, first off, her whole uniform is fly, and then when she actually entangles with Spider-Man, she has like this little crush, and she teases him because he's virgin. But the way that she teases him makes it so comical, and the way that he kind of like looks after her is comical and is light. So yes, hands down, I'm DC. Joker, Bane, Scarecrow, but I do want to give Spider-Man villains a chance because they got to do a lot of diversity, a lot of characters that aren't mentioned or talked about.
Yeah, I mean, in the worlds of Batman and Spider-Man, they have a lot in common. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of similarities. They're both in a way street level, but nowhere is this truer. I think in their rogues gallery, in their roster of villains, a lot of similarities, like animal-based gimmicks. A lot of them have men that transform into monsters, evil scientists. You know what I'm saying? Can make a Spider-Man, fan, or rather, you can definitely see the similarities between both, whether you are a Spider-Man fan or a Batman fan. But I think, they have a lot in common, but their worlds are very distinct from one another. Obviously, the deeper you go and the more differences you notice and shit like that. But Batman and Spider-Man share a lot of important traits, you know what I'm saying? But I think their depictions in comics are often very different. A lot of people don't really see it that way. They don't really notice the similarities at first because the way it's given to us, the way it's presented. Like in Batman, you've got all the Gothic and Deco art and architecture, and it's very dark and a crime, alley, shit and all of that with the very interesting, gangster sort of villains. While Spider-Man has, usually a brighter environment, Marvel, where he's swinging with rooftops and, it's always like daytime and shit like that. And he's in New York City saving people from crime as well, though. But I mean, they've both, I think, amassed a very cool, very dynamic list of enemies. And like Crazy Vision said, a lot of them enemies are close to our heart. Like for me, the Batman Rogues Gallery, bro, is just like he said, Joker. I mean, is my favorite villain of all time.
For sure, hell yeah.
Bane. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Classic.
Mine's is Mr. Freeze.
Freeze.
I'm a big Mr.
And also,
Freeze
the DC
fan.
Comics is a lot darker than the
Yeah.
Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? I like that dark shit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I feel like we're all kind of one-sided on DC, which is cool, but I'll tackle Spider-Man. You got Doc Ock, you got Rhinoceros. I'm failing because I don't watch Spider-Man like that, but you got the Rhino Man.
It's Rhino, Doc Ock, Mysterio, the Lizard, Sandman, and Green Goblin, and
Bro, you got Vulture, you got Chameleon,
Vulture, Chameleon,
Electro,
Electro,
Craven, Scorpion,
Scorpion.
Rhino,
Coming out with a movie,
you said
great
Shocker.
movie.
But if you want to go with
Kingpin,
the strongest
Prowler.
ones, if you want to go with the best ones for Spider, you got to go with the Sinister Six because those are the deadliest ones he's ever fought. whether together or by themselves.
I mean,
They figured
you
out
could
the
say
fact. The thing about the Sinister
it was
Six
a good
was
story.
they figured out the fact, which was smart. And whoever wrote that was smart with the way they did it. They kind of figured out the
Right.
fact that look, alone Spider-Man he be kicking our ass. It's like, what if we all got together?
Yeah.
What if we just all got together and just teamed up on him and just jumped him like they do in the hood? And that's what they
Right.
did. And Spider-Man had no answer for all 6 of them at one time. He
And
couldn't,
another thing
Yeah.
too.
take out none.
Another thing too is that the DC villains, they killers, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
They go on
Yeah,
murderous
DC villains are
sprees,
straight
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Straight
they are,
psychopathic killers. Word. Straight up asylum.
yeah.
Bro, Bane, you got Black Mask, Catwoman, fucking obviously Clayface, Deadshot, Firefly,
Well,
Harley
they've all been
Quinn,
committed.
Hugo
all of them been
Strange.
committed.
They're all from the Arkham Asylum.
They all been committed,
Yeah.
except for Deadshot. Deadshot's the only one that hasn't been committed. But the rest of them,
And then you
they all
got,
been
but
committed.
they both, but like Spider-Man has your, Rhino and all of that. You got Batman has Killer Croc and Killer Moth and Man Bat.
Bat.
Yeah. Fucking Mad Hatter is a dope one. Penguin, obviously, Poison Ivy, Ra's al Ghul, Riddler.
Hey, by the way, when you said Man Bat, Spider-Man has the same equivalent too. We got to remember that he has that one spider figure.
Spider
he turns
guy.
into the spider. Yeah, Spider Guy. He also fights
Doppelganger.
Yeah.
Doppelganger.
Yeah.
He fights Dracula too. So both of them on that level, Batman, and that's their same villain. They both fight Dracula.
They both fought Dracula.
Yeah.
Dracula. Yeah,
And they both
Dracula
have
got a good
gangsters.
run.
They
Yeah,
both
had
got
gangsters.
Is that
mafia type.
Jigsaw?
That's flat. That's
Hammerhead.
Hammerhead. Yeah, that's
Hammerhead.
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 Yeah.
Get a hammerhead. I
Oh,
didn't even know they made Hammerhead. Look, they got
That's a
there that
very
little
nice
brass
Hammerhead.
knuckles.
Yo, your collection is so sick, dog. Yo, I see behind you, dog. Yo,
Bro, I got
Sick,
some. Oh,
sick.
you'll like this.
Yo, Hammerhead had to never have a back.
Bro got
brass
money,
knuckles.
bro.
I just actually, I got money problems is what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, check him out. Joe Fix It.
Yo, I gotta be out though, but I just want to say what's up to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yo,
Yo.
y'all have a great night. You know what I'm saying?
You too,
Bro,
man. Have a
thank
great
you for
weekend,
coming
man.
through, bro.
For sure. Yo,
Yeah.
I'm in my dough sanctuary, dog. You know what I'm saying? I got pieces
Let me
behind
see.
me that I done in the street right here.
Let me see.
That was my
Oh.
first one that I ever did. Yo, when I got back into it, right there,
Nice.
first one. Then I got one huge one right here.
It's too dark.
Nice.
It's too dark. But I see it.
But I'm out
Yeah.
here though. You know what I'm saying? Yo,
Yeah,
y'all
bro.
have a good night, all right?
Be safe, man.
Yo,
Be safe.
peace. Thank you.
One. Yo, Lito's way in the building.
That's a great question. I think. Ooh. No.
That's a cool fucking question. I like that.
No.
Batman, hands down, Batman.
I think they would both be all right. No, I think Spider-Man will fare better.
But we're talking about psychology. Like, do you
No,
think
but
that
she has a point.
Spider-Man will be able to face off that psychology of Joker
Yeah.
and Harley Quinn? Because
Right.
he deals with villains that are like brute force strength. But like, if he goes up against Joker, who's going to kill his aunt for real,
Yeah.
I mean, is he going to mentally be able to take on that role?
Well, he's
Because
not going to
Batman
have
has a dark mind.
Yeah,
So
he's not going to have that that detective, mind or whatever, and that psychological, analytical that Batman's going to have. But I think and maybe Sada, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're getting at is that Spider-Man's villains, or rather Batman's villains, Batman doesn't have powers, so his villains generally don't have superpowers, whereas Spider-Man has these super strength and his villains have super strength and super powers and they fly and all this shit. Whereas Batman really has gangsters and street level guys that Spider-Man could pretty much, web up and beat pretty easily. But
yeah, I think he would fare better. Just
Well,
off
to
his
be-
strength
to be-
alone, I think he would fare
To
better.
be
but, like,
fair,
he's also very quick-witted as well.
he is, but Batman with the right
yeah,
planning,
but to be
nobody
fair,
Batman
Spider-Man's
can't beat.
villains are humans too.
Yeah,
Some of,
absolutely.
yeah, and some of Batman's villains are Killer Croc and shit like that. So I mean, they don't all. You can't really fit them in a box. These dudes are cool. They
But a
both
lot-
have the blue pinstripe.
Yeah,
A
but
lot of
those
Batman's
villains
a lot of
do
Batman's
are
villains just
human.
make sense. Like they
Yeah.
look at
Hold on
Waylon
one
Jones.
second.
He has a form of alopecia that makes him look like he has like alligator scales. And then the other
Oh,
thing is
right.
yeah. If you look it up,
Yeah, but
that's
he's a big ass crocodile though.
Yeah, but would he be able to go
that's what I'm
against
saying. He
somebody
looks.
like
That's
Killer
what I'm saying.
Croc?
That's what makes him looks like a crocodile.
But he's
is the
also
fact that a
huge.
rare. No, he's huge. He's always been huge. But the rare disease that he has makes him look like a crocodile. That's why I always called him Killer Croc.
Yeah.
And then you
yeah.
got don't forget the Joker. He fell into a vat of chemicals, which altered his
Mhm.
psyche, made
How
his
would
skin
he?
pale white, his hair green. He
How
bathed
would he
Harley
go
Quinn in
against
it.
Scarecrow?
Scarecrow's got the fear toxin. You got to remember, Batman's villains are very, 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 very methodical. They're very intelligent,
Yes.
but
They're
they're crazy
geniuses.
intelligent.
They're
They're
just guys
geniuses,
though.
but
They're
they're
not like super
crazy
powered.
geniuses.
They have like
I
Right.
mean, Joker
Yeah.
actually took out Superman, like by killing Lois Lane and creating that whole entire injustice. That was a Joker thing.
Yeah.
Joker did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joker
that's
did a
why I
lot,
say
man.
Joker.
If you think
You
about a
can't
lot of
front
stuff
on
Joker did, Joker did a
Joker
lot,
is
man.
not. Yeah, Joker ain't no pushover. It's not. He ain't
No.
no side villain. Joker's a
Yeah,
real.
that's true, but neither are Spider-Man's villains. Like Dr. Ock doesn't have any superpowers. Rhino doesn't have any superpowers. Later, I mean, Sandman does kind of have superpowers, but not to the
Kinda. He's
level
made of
of.
sand,
Well, Rhino depends on how you depict
and
Rhino.
Rhino has
If you're
big
talking
ass.
about the
I mean,
If you're
yeah,
talking
because
about the
Rhino
new
is
Rhino, the mechanized Rhino, that's one
fuck
thing.
that.
But if you're talking
Yeah,
about the
no.
old school one,
The real
he
Rhino
has on
has powers.
he has a suit. He has like a suit that gives him the strength that he has,
Well,
and it makes
but
him almost indestructible.
you got Electro, you got the Lizard, you got
The lizard,
Yeah, I'm
guys,
just seeing it as like,
Craven.
don't get me
Don't
wrong.
forget,
I just
Craven
think
has
it's
his
Batman.
serum. Craven has a serum that makes him strong, like the strength of 10
Yeah, but
tigers.
that's
like
a good.
Bane.
Yeah, but that's good. But he's still human at the end of the
He's
day.
like
Like if
Bane.
he
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
have,
like Bane.
which is another good. But that's the point, is that Spider-Man has human villains as well. It's not like they're overpowered or
Mhm.
like super strong. Like I can't even really think of a Spider-Man villain that has power. Like Electrode was even.
No, I know one Spider-Man
But if
villain
you
that has
look,
powers.
up some of their.
Yeah,
I know one
Green
Spider-Man villain
Goblin.
that has powers.
Green Goblin
know
has
one.
powers.
I know one that has powers. Legit.
What, Venom?
Video Man.
Video Man.
Wait,
I mean, you got that's real. You got Hydro Man. You got
who'd you say?
Video Man.
Oh, yeah, Hydro Man.
Video Man.
I mean, are y'all
Remember
forgetting
remember from the
Venom?
cartoon?
Venom?
Yeah, remember from the
Carnage?
cartoon? Remember from Spider-Man's Amazing Friends? Video Man. He came out the
Yeah.
video game machine.
Oh yeah.
I vaguely remember who you're talking about.
From the
Yeah,
old
he was able to
cartoon.
like fast
Video
forward,
Man.
pause,
Video Man was the
rewind.
joint.
Oh my
Video Man was the
god, I
joint.
don't remember
came
that.
out-
Whoa.
Listen, go on
Old
Disney Plus.
cartoon.
Go on Disney Plus
Okay.
and watch Spider-Man His Amazing Friends and watch the episode about. It's 2 episodes in that series about Video Man. And Video
Yeah, I
Man
think
was
it's
the
on
joint.
YouTube. No.
Okay, I'm gonna
Now,
check
they're
them
definitely
out.
on Disney Plus. They're definitely
Yeah,
on Disney
for sure.
Plus.
Yeah, my son watches them. But
Yeah.
that's a good
Don't
point.
forget
But like, if we
yeah.
actually go back, there's not a lot of like. Yeah, we're talking Venom. Yes, Hydro, but in general, none of
Carnage?
Spider-Man's villains are overpowered or like super villains.
No, that's why I think that the
No,
rogues
some
gallery
are,
of
yeah.
Batman and Spider-Man are very comparable because they both have
They are very
humans
comparable,
with crazy intellect and humans with tech, but they also have Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type morphed humans and altered
This is true.
humans and that kind of thing with powers, but they're
Yeah, this
very
is true.
similar.
And now that
Yeah,
I'm
that's
thinking
true.
about it, there's less collateral damage between their villains as well. Like the Spider-Man and Batman's villains don't cause buildings to crumble. They usually are a more, mental, okay, I'm super strong now, I'm going to try to rob a bank, and it's that simple. I say that because I don't like Superman's villains, because it ends up, you have to destroy a house, you have to destroy a building. But with those two, Spider-Man and Batman, I mean, like, I think that their human level villains are, really comparable.
Yeah, I mean, and Ludo's way is right. Most of Spider-Man villains are stronger than him, but not all of them. They're not all. But yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, you have,
you're
and
right.
then you got
Superman's villains. A lot of his villains are stronger than Superman.
Spider-Man. He said Spider-Man. Yeah. A
Like
lot
Craven.
of them are. And that's the whole
Craven,
thing.
Rhino. Yeah,
But you have guys like
that's
Vulture
what.
who are not about. It's not. They're not strong. They just. I mean, he flies. Like Vulture's one that always was a conundrum to me. I always wonder what Stan was thinking when he invented Vulture. Maybe he was thinking of. I think he was thinking of like one of his bosses or something. But yeah, I mean, I think since their creation, you know, the worlds of Batman and Spider-Man have definitely been master classes in villain galleries and, you know, rogues and in general, you know what I'm saying, defined by their unique and colorful and, you know, very very cool, like, I don't know, stylized, you know, type villains. You know what I'm saying? And then you've got Wayne and Peter Parker, both united in their diverse collection of these foes and desire to protect their hometowns. You know what I'm saying? Like they both just protect their city from these villains who are within this city. They're like homegrown street level heroes that also rock with the Avengers and the Justice League and fight guys like Thanos and Darkseid, right?
Well,
But
they're kind of similar in the way that they don't usually rock with those big groups like Avengers and
Right.
Justice League. At least they're very
Right.
much part time, or it's like not like a long stay if they are with those groups.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's a lot of shit like that in common, man. I think they're and then you've got you've got the fact that Spider-Man's dirt poor and Batman is a billionaire with unlimited funds. Spider-Man can't make his rent.
But he's intelligent as hell. So even though he's broke as hell,
you don't have to be broke.
He can still make amazing what's it called, suits and gadgets and what have you. And he can use whatever resources he has available to make something on the fly as well. So
right. And everybody loves him, so Stark will make him shit, and you know people will help him out. And
yeah, if he lets Stark make him shit, because in some comics he doesn't really like Stark.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to talk about that point too. It's the relationship between Batman and his villains, and the relationship between Spider-Man and his villains, because there's a different relationship there too.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man's are more I don't want to say personal, but like they are a little more personal just because he makes a lot of quips with them. He really gets under their skin. Where Batman, I feel like it's more impersonal, except for someone like the Joker.
His villains are more ironic. Yeah, it's like more irony with Batman's villains.
Yeah,
than it would be with Spider-Man's. And Batman's villains are more inclined to affect his life outside of the cow, whereas in Spider-Man's are just why he's in the cow. So like where Batman, like Hush and Batman, they know each other, and Batman knew a lot of these people before they became what they were. Like he knew who they were, he knew what they did, he knew what kind of people they were. Like look at Harvey Dent. And Harvey Dent was cool. He knows, you know, Harvey's that kind of hits home for him. Hush hits
Batman
home.
has a lot more compassion too. Like
right.
Ali, what up, man? Has a lot of compassion in regards to his villains as well.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, Spider-Man definitely does too. But and one thing that Lito's Way brought up, you know, Batman has the Joker. Like it's very much the Batman and Joker, mustard and ketchup, right? They're very, you know, peanut butter and jelly. It's like they go together. Does Spider-Man really have a Joker?
Would you not say Venom?
Yeah, I would say Venom. Good job.
I would say Venom. Lizard. Yeah, I'd say Venom. It used to be the Lizard, but I would say Venom now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. Yeah, I would say Venom.
I would say Doc Ock too. Like Doc
Ock.
Venom
or Doc Ock. Yes, absolutely.
But
Doc Ock
I don't read him a lot, but he has a lot of appearance. Doc Ock used to appear all the time. They just recently took him out of all the comics and everything. But Doc Ock was like an actual villain all the time with Spider-Man. Yeah.
A lot of people would have said Green Goblin. Yeah, a lot of
people would say Green Goblin.
But again, how popular the Green Goblin isn't as popular as the Joker.
Well, okay, but that's not really a fair comparison. The question was if he has a real rival. Whether or not he's as popular, I mean, Green Goblin could be considered one of his real rivals. He has a couple because, to me, like I said, his relationship with his villains can be a lot more personal. Whereas Batman, I feel like is not as personal as unless it's like someone like the Joker. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, and a lot of them are very much iconic. You know, I think Doc Ock having the arms and being an octopus, whereas Spider-Man is a spider, and that's both the two animals that are known for having, you know, 8 legs or whatever. That sort of dynamic makes them very much what do you call it? Rival. But I mean, I don't know. I don't because with Batman, you know, you've got Penguin and Riddler and a lot of other villains. Bane is maybe his nemesis, you know, but it always goes back to Joker. I mean, it's always Batman and Joker. And I don't know. I feel like for me, I don't think Spider-Man has a Joker.
I think he does. I think there's a couple Jokers, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with having more than one Joker. I feel like if anything, that makes you a little more versatile.
True. He might be more versatile, but having a couple Jokers ain't the same as having one Joker. You know what I mean?
But the couple he has, they're all strong. They're all very strong. Like Venom, I would say. Dr. Michael Morbius.
Morbius is his Joker.
I actually agree with Reno. I'm starting to understand what he's saying. Let me say this. I don't think any hero and villain had the dynamic of Batman and Joker. So what are you trying to say with them? Because you're right. I don't think that anyone has that dynamic. So like if we're gonna ask like who is Spider-Man's Joker? Well, those dynamics are completely different. I don't think Superman doesn't have a Joker.
Wait. If we break it down, let's Green Goblin. I would have to say Green Goblin because look.
Hold on, what did Ali saying? Ali ain't said. I'm sorry, man. Stu, he was talking.
No, I was just gonna say for me.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say for me, Jonah Jameson would probably be a Joker because you remember how in certain times the Joker would tell the Batman that he doesn't want him to die. He doesn't want to kill him. He wants him. He needs him, you know. And I think that's the same dynamic that Jonah Jameson has with Spider-Man. He hates him, but he needs him too. You know what I mean? So on a lesser level, I think that they could equate, you know, to being like somewhat of a Joker character, you know, but not as villainous, you know. But he is technically like a villain. He's always giving up Spider-Man's spot and everything like that.
No, that's an interesting take. And if you go back to the source of the question, it's not does he have a Joker? It's does he have a real rival? So I just took it a step further to say does he have a Joker? But yeah, he definitely has a couple rivals. I think Sada hit it on the head right out the gate with Venom. I mean, that's his main. But Stu, what were you saying, man?
I was gonna say Green Goblin because Norman Osborn is kind of directly related to Spider-Man, but he doesn't know it. And the Green Goblin, once he found out who Spider-Man was, if you ever read the What If, you know, when Gwen Stacy died, and had she lived, everybody would have known he was Spider-Man. Like Green Goblins always came the closest to Spider-Man hitting home and things like that. Spider-Man always had to do something like really extreme to keep it from going there. And Green Goblin's always been that one that like where Joker
that's
can push
true.
Batman
Good
over the
point.
edge.
Good point.
Green Goblin's always been that one that can push Spider-Man to that
tested him
edge. That tested him, right. And Osborn, you know, where he'll act like he's nice but he's really the Green Goblin, but he's like that's a double standard because you'll have Osborn acting like Osborn, but he's really the Green Goblin pretending to be Osborn and not you know what I mean, not the other way around. Like he usually tricks Spider-Man like that. Like he'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it," but secretly he's the Green Goblin. And then Spider-Man be like, "Oh shit, the whole time I've been talking to the Goblin and not Osborn." So it's two personalities that lives within them, and it's like they're playing mind tricks on each other. Like not just Spider-Man, he's playing mind tricks on himself. Like that in itself is brilliant. That's Joker like to me. That's the most Joker like villain he has.
And Goblin
Good
kind of
point.
looks
Good
like the
point.
Joker. He got a Joker-esque look to his face too. The way he's got the big giant
Yeah.
grin, the giant
Big
face,
grin.
and
Yeah,
Don't
big,
forget the
Goblin, the
big
laugh.
eyes,
Joker.
Don't forget the
Yeah.
laugh. Yeah. Don't
the
forget
laugh,
he's got the
right?
sinister laugh.
Maniacal.
And he's all
Yeah, they did.
and he's
Yeah.
always just a tad bit ahead of Spider-Man, like Joker is with Batman. Just a tad bit.
Good take,
Spider-Man
man.
always outsmarts him. Yeah.
I think the differences are as important as their commonalities. You know what I'm saying? Like where Spider-Man is a lot like Superman with the very optimistic outlook on life, and Batman is the brooding, dark, solitary, hero forever avenging the death of his parents. And a lot of Spider-Man's enemies are actually direct personal conflicts of Peter Parker's.
Hey, I
Like
never thought
his
about that.
best
That's a
friend
good point.
becoming Green Goblin. What'd you say?
That's a good point. Both of their parents died. Spider-Man's parents died, and his quote unquote Alfred is his Aunt May.
His Aunt May, right?
Yeah, so like that, I didn't even think about that till you just said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're both of them are orphans.
Mm-hmm.
Orphans. Oh.
Orphans, yeah. And then the Spider-Man has his close personal friend becoming the Hobgoblin or the Green Goblin rather, or the new Goblin, or depending on what iteration. His professor
Harvey
becoming
Dent.
the Lizard, the symbiote becoming Venom, all of that. So like it's like
Clayface.
his friends or his close commandants or his close associates becoming villains, and they don't know each other is the villain and the hero. Sometimes like the like their alter egos know each other. They don't know that they're fighting at night and shit. That's cool. And these conflicts have made for some very powerful unmasking moments throughout in the comics. And Spider-Man and Batman are very much their secret identities is a huge part of their persona. A big part of their personality, a big part of their storyline, their character, I guess, their secret identity-ness. And in a way that, I think Batman's comics, it wouldn't work the way they do it with Spider-Man, who's Batman whose identity is dissociated from Bruce Wayne. Spider-Man movies versus the comics, you have them playing with this idea, giving him personal connections to Vulture and Sandman and Mysterio, and sort of reinforcing Spider-Man's protection of his alter ego, his secret identity, knowing that revealing his identity would put all his friends and his family at risk. You know what I'm saying? That's the big deal with him, is if they find out who he is, they'll kill Aunt May or MJ or whoever. And Batman has, his sort of friends that have been turned into villains as well. You know what I'm saying? Harvey Dent was a good guy that became Two-Face, which is a trope for Spider-Man. Who Hush, you know what I'm saying, like Robin and shit like that, becoming villains and all of that. And I think Spider-Man has his share of dark villains too, but and dark stories, but he's definitely a more upbeat, brighter character, more a daytime character, where Batman's more of a nighttime character, and the villains sort of display that or whatever. Yeah. And Batman's villains also each represent mental health problems. Like we said before, they're all lunatics. They all come from like Arkham Asylum, or have been to Arkham Asylum, or used to be doctors, or they went crazy or whatever. Even Harvey Dent with the dual personalities, and Joker with the compulsive chaos. And you saying something?
No, for me, I was just saying that to me, they also come from a darker time. It seems like back in the era of Batman, and
right,
the Depression era, and being a
right
in that dark the
40s and shit.
Yeah,
exactly. 50s. That's true. Spider-Man was more the 60s and all of that. Yeah,
more love, peace. You know what I mean? Like express yourself, open, all that. So you could definitely tell that the influence came from a different era, right?
Yeah, yeah, and Batman's villains haven't always been darker, even if he was, he definitely was from the more the 40s and 50s, but became definitely downright campy in the 60s, which is where Spider-Man's sort of from. But you know what I'm saying? Like he had the goofy TV show, and then even Mr. Freeze was a joke character at first. You know what I'm saying? He's been reimagined with more dark origins since then, but and murderous intentions. But he was a joke at first. A lot of them were goofy at first, and a lot of them came around during the whole because Spider-Man wasn't around during the comic books code enforced where they first started doing that in the 50s, and that's why Batman got super G rated and all of that. Yeah, so a lot of those villains came out of that era, and we're goofy and fun. Uh, you know what I'm saying? But I think historically, Batman has also done much better with the done and one and done villains, especially during the Bronze Age. You know what I'm saying? The creepy cults and the one-off serial killers and all of that, making the world of Batman feel more like a thriller, more like a dark, dramatic thing. And I think that's helped along the way with stories like the Long Halloween, which gave us movies like The Batman, Dark Victory, Batman the Cult, Shaman. A lot of these stories, Batman's foes weren't eccentric asylum patients, but they were more like the organized crime guys. You know what I'm saying? The gangsters and all of that. And Spider-Man's had that same, you know what I'm saying, with whereas Kingpin and Batman has Falcone, right? And they're both crime bosses, and they've both got guys like Hammerhead and shit like that. But I think, yeah, the question whether these heroes create their villains or the villains create them is another.
The villains, in my opinion, the villains create them. Remember with Joker in The Last Day, that always resonates with me. I mean, One Bad Day, that always resonates with me because a villain can just give you, or even Satan can give you just one bad day and then cause you to think that you're not worthy, to cause you to turn into a villain. One bad day can cause, chaos.
You good, bro?
That's a good point. That is a good point. That is a good point.
But yeah, one bad day. And that's even something they did in the new Spider-Man. I think it was Homecoming or whichever one it was, where Goblin killed Aunt May. Basically, what Goblin was trying to do was show that if I just give Spider-Man one bad day, then everything comes crumbling down. One thing Goblin would say to Spider-Man is, "Join me." Because if you join me, then we can completely take over the city, But Spider-Man's like, no, I'm too good. Like good always prevails. But Goblin is trying to show you that, you know what, good doesn't always prevail. And if you just join the dark side, then we can actually take over this world together. And that's just been the whole ideology of bad people, starting from, not to get religious, but starting from Satan and his downfall. It was all about one bad day. Eve, you ate of the fruit. That's one bad day. The flood. Yeah, it was more than one bad day, but the day that the flood started was one bad day. Now let's see Job. I mean, I'm talking biblical, but outside of the Bible and comics, it's all I have to do is give Superman one bad day where somebody comes in and kills Lois, and now all of a sudden you use that and turn completely evil. I mean, is that really all it takes for you to be evil?
Yeah, I don't think
the answer to that question is one bad day for a good guy can,
yeah. And it's a good point. It's a good question. It was a good story. I like that. One Bad Day I highly recommend that. If you want a good Spidey story. But yeah, regardless of what can be said for Batman's rogues gallery being more psychotic, maybe more dark, or crazy, more evil, maybe even, I don't know. But I think science-based villainy is definitely more important in Peter Parker's New York. His villains are definitely more intelligent or more more genius than mad. Norman Osborn, Otto Octavius, Kingpin, the Jackal are some of the greatest geniuses in comicdom. You know what I'm saying? Their intelligence has let them defeat Spider-Man in a lot of situations. And that's definitely allowed to lay the foundations for team ups like the Sinister Six, like Stu was
But I
talking
want
about,
to
who
get
have
all
brought him down.
y'all's I want to get all y'all's opinions about who do you have in a fight. Like, let's say that Spider-Man goes to Gotham chasing down a villain. Does Spider-Man beat Batman in the first meetup?
What do they have to fight?
So let's say that we're gonna make Batman bad. Let's say that Batman went to, I forgot where Spider-Man, New York, and he kidnapped Aunt May for research purposes. Who wins, Batman or I'm just writing the story here, but like you guys can make up your own story. Batman versus Spider-Man. Batman the bad guy. Who wins?
It depends on Batman. It depends on Batman having enough time to prep.
Oh, jeez.
He's got to be able to prep. He's got to plan. He's got to be able to have his.
I think Spider-Man could take him. I think
Spider-Man's going to beat him. Yeah. I mean,
but that all goes with Batman's motif. He doesn't have any physical superpowers. His greatest superpower is his mind. So he has to be able to outthink,
Amen.
and out.
And Spider-Man's a super genius too. Peter Parker's a super genius too.
Yeah, but not to the same level, not in experience. Spider-Man is still trying to get out of high school. Like he still panics about
It depends on what comic you're. Some Spider-Man's grown up in most of the comics. He's way out of high school, got his apartment and his job and all of that.
Yeah, I hear you, but I mean, let's just say like normally he's in college. He's either normally in. He's not even in high school. Most of the comics, he's usually in college. He's getting his degree. While he's in college, Batman, Bruce Wayne, is over in Asia learning martial arts to defeat, metahumans.
Okay,
so he really has.
But if Spider-Man, then let's have him go up against year 1, year 2 bats. That would be a more fair fight then, if we're gonna say that. If he's gonna be in college, because by that point he's had a little experience. And year 1, year 2 bats has had a little experience. So if those two go up against each other, then who would win? I don't know.
I mean,
still think Spider-Man will get him, but
in a fist fight,
are we talking about web shooters? Nah. Like does Spider-Man have web shooters, or is
if they're fist fighting, Spider-Man's gonna win. Spider-Man is he's got super fucking powers.
What?
He can throw a fucking dude. Spider-Man's not gonna fight. Dude, Batman's punches and kicks would do nothing to Spider-Man. He wouldn't even feel it. It's irrelevant how bad of a ninja you are when you can't hurt the guy. He's got the strength of a spider. You can't hurt him. You can't damage him. So,
yeah, but we're talking about like how strong is Spider-Man actually? Because honestly, in some of the comics,
super strong.
Spider-Man is
but you said year 1 and year 2 Spider-Man.
Spider-Man just as strong, whether he's but Spider-Man's strength doesn't have nothing to do with his age.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that in like Spider-Man Super Friends, he doesn't have super strength. So what Spider-Man are we gonna? Because just like we said, if we're going against,
I don't know about no Spider-Man without super strength.
Yeah, bro, he did not get super strength until later on in the comics. Like the ability to lift a car, that comes later. That comes with time. That comes with writers building them up to try to solve the story. If we pick a Batman who goes up against Superman against Spider-Man, which one of them is going to win?
No. Amazing Fantasy 15 established that he had the strength of a spider in relation to the size of a human. You can just do the math and figure out how strong that is.
I
mean, but is that strong enough to lift up? Because, like I say, you
can toss a car like it's a tin can.
So is that the Spider-Man we're going with? Because again. Are we going with the Spider-Man that has web shooters, or does he run out? I mean, or does he do it naturally?
Here's a good one for you. Remember you watched Secret War? I mean,
Spider-Man has web shooters, of course.
Remember in
he always won.
What was the movie that they did with what's his name? With with Spider-Man when they all fought at the airport. What was that? That was called
Civil War.
Civil War.
Civil War.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That was
Civil
high
War.
school
Remember when,
Spidey, and
right
he
now?
was
Remember when right. Remember when the Winter Soldier punched him, tried to punch him with his bionic arm. He caught it. He was like, "Yo, you got a bionic arm." He was just twisting it like it
Yeah.
was nothing. He was like, "Yo," he was looking at the joint like, "Yo." Anybody
There's
else,
an
he was knocking
old-
him out
there's
with
a-
that joint. Yeah.
There's an old
was-
classic cover of Spider-Man holding a cop car and in the air, just like
Yeah.
tossing a cop car.
But in
Which
those
is
same
homage
Remember when
scenes,
Tony
in those
Stark-
same
Superman
scenes,
Remember
the-
when Tony Stark? Remember when Tony Stark went and got him, and he showed him the video, and he showed him catching the car. He caught it, and then tossed it to the side. He was like, "Yo, what is that? Like 2-3 tons?" He was like, "Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't know." And he was like, "You're pretty strong."
Right, but let's
So-
remember
yeah.
because one hit from the Falcon. Because I understand what you're saying, Stu. But like if we go to the Falcon, him versus Vulcan, not Falcon, Vulcan. Him versus Vulcan. Vulcan hit him one time with his mechanical arm and sent Spider-Man flying. So these are writer stories. Like it's funny to hear Winter Soldier went to go punch Spider-Man and Spider-Man caught it. That's funny to hear. But we're talking about straight up, Vulcan versus Spider-Man, where Vulcan hits him with his mechanical arm and causes a huge explosion. Or
To be fair,
Doc Ock.
Listen,
do you know?
Doc Ock
Do
hit
you
him.
Plenty of people
are you
hit-
are you really
plenty of
familiar
people
with
hit Spider-Man
Spider-Man,
and sent
like
him flying.
Spider-Man comics?
Plenty of people
Are you
hit
pretty familiar with
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
and hit it
comics?
like
No, not
Juggernaut
all of
punched him
them.
and sent him flying.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's like how, like I'm familiar with early Spider-Man, like in the 70s. Like in the 70s, Spider-Man didn't have the ability to lift a car and throw it. He had to refill his web shooters. So
Yeah, I was gonna
again,
ask about that too. Are you talking about
That
Vulcan
Vulture.
from the X-Men? You
No, I
mean
think
no,
it's
Vulcan,
Vulture.
the guy that he Vulture. I said Vulcan, Vulture.
Yeah.
Vulture,
Vulture.
yeah.
My bad. But like, but
Vulture's
even Doc
weak.
Ock. Let's
Vulture's-
stick with
Vulture's
Doc.
weak, bro. Vulture's is a human. He has no super strength at all.
Yeah, but he still goes toe to toe. Okay, Craven goes toe to toe with
Craven
Spider-Man.
has
So how do
super
you
strength.
explain? No,
Craven
he
has
has.
super strength.
He takes a
Craven-
medicine,
Craven has
give
a
him
serum.
excess.
Yeah, it's like a
enhanced.
serum.
And he has
It's like a
20
serum.
And it gives him.
It's like
he
a
takes
venom.
serum. And it gives
Right,
him,
but now
a
how
few
strong
hours.
is that
It
serum?
gives him like 24 hours worth of.
Super
He has the
strength.
strength of like 10 tigers or something like that.
I think what you're getting at, I think what Black Heroes Club's getting at is that depending on the author or the story, Spider-Man's strength level varies. It just doesn't vary enough that he doesn't have super strength that just would wipe the floor with Batman in a fist fight.
And
But
even if he didn't, like Lito's way said, he still has his spider sense, which is just puts him up there.
Incredible.
Like
Yeah,
I don't know, Batman
Yeah,
can't
but
really
Batman
like
has
go against
ninja
his spider
sense.
sense. He
No,
cannot.
no. Ninja Sense, no. Listen,
No.
bro, people sleep on Spider Sense. It's one of his. It's honestly probably his most valuable power.
It's uncultivated because half the time he doesn't even realize that it's working. Half the time it's just like, "Whoa,
No.
what was that? Let me move out the way." He has to develop it throughout the comics. What
Yeah,
I'm
he
saying is,
developed
I'm not
it.
taking it away from him. I'm saying, yeah, okay, he has super strength, but what we're talking about is the development. Because I can take the Batman that fought Superman, and I can use him to go up against Spider-Man, and I feel like Dark Knight Year 1 Batman or Dark Knight, Part 2 Batman can beat Spider-Man.
But that's years worth of experience against how many
Exactly.
years worth of experience for
Exactly.
Peter. But that wouldn't be
So-
a fair fight then.
But
If we're
that's
trying
not
to
fair
do a fair
because there
fight.
are iterations of Spider-Man where he's just as seasoned and old as Batman.
Yeah, so we would have to use that Spider-Man against a Batman who's like 60.
You gotta, yeah,
and the
you
one
put
who
him in the
fought
same
Superman.
age class.
I think you should
right?
take out
Don't
suits
forget-
too, like mecha
don't
suits
forget-
and cap.
Yes,
Yeah.
And don't
yes.
forget, Batman has.
Oh yeah,
don't
suits
forget
because
Batman
yeah.
also has a sinestro ring. Yeah, and don't forget.
I mean,
Batman
yeah,
also
but
has-
they
yeah, let's put
Spider-Man
Green
got
Lantern
suits too.
Yeah, let's do that. But that's my point.
he's
It's
got
like,
the
as
Hellbat
the
armor.
writer, if
it's
we're gonna
just a lot.
say Batman versus Spider-Man, which Spider-Mans are we gonna use? Because, like we said earlier, we're gonna use Year 1 Batman, and let's say Amazing Spider-Man. Well, that's gonna be a different fight than the Spider-Man that we know today, because Amazing Spider-Man still had to fill up his web shooters. Amazing Spider-Man only could crawl on walls. Amazing Spider-Man's spider sense didn't always work. So which Spider-Man are we gonna go with?
No, it's not like
which Batman are we gonna get? It's not like the writing for Batman is always consistent as well as far as his strength and what he can do, what are his limits. Like that's always been played
no,
around.
and that's fair. Then write me out. Like I hear what you guys are saying, but let's
you're just not that familiar with Spider-Man. His Amazing Spider-Man run is very long and extensive, and it's saying that his spider sense doesn't always work isn't fair because it's not like it works randomly. Sometimes it just doesn't work. There's been story arcs where it happened where he lost it or something like that. But it's not just sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. He is very seasoned with the Spidey sense. He can like fight dudes. I mean, he can be talking to you like eating a sandwich, whooping a dude's ass with his arm because that's how fucking seasoned it is. So it just depends on where you're talking about. Like I said, his arc, Amazing Spider-Man, is one of the longest running titles. So you can't just say the Amazing Spider-Man version because that starts at what, Amazing Fantasy 15 and goes on to last week's comic.
All right, I feel what you're saying, and you're right. I don't know a whole lot about Spider-Man. Well, I'm only going based off of like if I was to write the story.
I gotta break out, guys and girls. This has been a great conversation, but I gotta break out. But
all right, brother.
Spider-Man does have superhuman strength.
Be safe.
And his spider sense is something that just warns him of danger when he ain't looking. That's just what it does. You ever try to step on a bug and then it just jumps out of the way? You're like, damn, I missed it. Like that's what Spider-Man is. But like Reno said, it's on a human level. Whereas in somebody throws something at him and he ain't paying attention, he just dips out the way. Well, like when you watch the last episode of Star Wars Ahsoka, remember how the dark Sith threw the lightsaber at her and she dipped it, and then all the smoke and everything, and she had her back to it. And when it came back to him, she just was like, that's spider sense for Spider-Man. Well, he knows it's coming, and he just reacts naturally, and it winds up missing him. So he just was like, oh, damn, got to hit me with a car. Wow, I got one for you. So it just that's how the spider sense works. It's not like it's precog where he can see the future and be like, oh, it's just warning him that something's about to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not. It's like if a kick is coming at the back of his head, he will know it. If a bullet, or if like an object is flying at him from behind, he's gonna know it. He'll catch it or whatever like that, or move or whatever.
I hear you guys.
You can't hit him. He'll just duck or he'll jump. Right.
Yeah, but for comic relief, I'm gonna say this: like, if Spider-Man went to go kick Batman, even for comic relief. I mean, if Batman went to go kick Spider-Man for comic relief, I would say that Batman hits him, and then it's funny because Spider-Man's like, wow, I didn't even see you coming. What are you, a ninja or something? That's comic relief in there. So, again, like, it goes into how powerful are we going to make Spider-Man? I want to see the fight happen. So it depends on the writer. It depends on, how the storyline. If Batman comes to New York, how are we going to start this fight? Because I want to see it happen.
Always depends on the writer. It always depends. I love these talks. Like, it's funny. Like, they'll be like, "Who's gonna win, Goku or One Punch Man?" And it's like, it depends on who's writing it.
Yeah, you gotta write a compelling story. Like
this. Like you said, you asked earlier when I was showing you the Spawn and the Batman. DC did a Spawn versus Batman where Batman won, and Image did a Spawn versus Batman where Spawn won. It's like whoever wrote it, that's whose guy wins. You know what I mean? It's simple. I mean, if they're comparable enough that the writer could alter it, then it's like, you can't. You can take all the fun out of the conversation just by saying, "Well, it just depends who's writing it."
A good example of that. Yeah, I feel what you're saying. An example that I want to, Muhammad Ali versus Superman. Obviously, Superman's gonna, pummel Muhammad Ali. Obviously. But the way that the writers did it in the comic is that they had Muhammad Ali say, you know what, Spider-Man, Superman, you have to come down on your power. You have to, not come at me full strength, and let's go skill for skill.
Right.
And like it lasted a couple of rounds, but then Muhammad ended up winning because it was a skill versus skill set, not I'm Superman, I'm just gonna punch you. Oh, I'm Spider-Man, I can take on Batman, I'm just gonna punch him. Okay, but that's not a compelling story. Let's write this compelling story. Let's pick which Batman were you gonna use, which Spider-Man gonna use. And Batman doesn't have to win. Batman can lose. I don't mind him losing because most of the time he loses in the first 5 minutes of his episode anyway. But then eventually he starts telling the story of how he overcomes his own mind, and then defeats the villain.
He can win against Spider-Man. I just want you to understand that it's not just cut and dry that he's gonna guaranteed win. It's definitely not. It could go either way. It depends on the circumstances. It depends on a lot of shit. I mean, Batman with contingencies apparently could take out the whole Justice League. You know what I'm saying? So hey,
not probably, he will do it. I'm a Batman fan. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. But again, it's because he's got some kryptonite for Superman. He's got
that Batman is overpowered.
Right, but what I'm saying is like he knows them very well. He knows all their secrets. He has time to plan. He's got it all on them. He's the detective. He knows everything about them. Shit they don't even know about themselves and shit. And that's why he can easily take out his own team. But someone he knows nothing about, he needs time to learn about that person, do his detective work, do his due diligence, figure out their weaknesses, all of this stuff, because he doesn't have brute strength. He can't just walk in and punch through the wall or, whatever. So he's got to have that prep time or whatever, it's like, it's that old, he's got to have prep time deal. But, Spider-Man is not just a kid that, shoots webs. He goes against like cosmic level motherfuckers. He's definitely had his share of real deal fights.
If you look at both of their runs, like with their teams, like the Justice League versus X-Men, you can say that the X-Men have had just as many cosmic bad guys fight, just as much as the Justice League, if not more, with like Galactus and whoever and whatnot.
Yeah. So Avengers too.
The experience, exactly. The Avengers too. So the experience is there. You can't. Really, he's done a lot more than I think people really know or give him credit for sure.
He definitely just doesn't bounce around New York. He's done all. That's why when people put him in the category of street level hero like Daredevil and Punisher and all of those, I'm like, yeah, but he's not just that. He also transcends all levels of fucking superhero-dom and fights any level of bad guy. Has fought all levels of bad guys. Whereas, Daredevil and Punisher and maybe, Luke Cage or Iron Fist or I'm trying to think of some other street level guys, but, they generally don't go up against,
cosmic beings.
Or cosmic beings or, super aliens or whatever.
But see, that's a good point too, though, because that's what I was talking about in sense of, and I will listen. I hear you. You're right. I don't know enough about Spider-Man to talk about him. I need to do my own research on that. But my points in the writing style are: you have episodes where Spider-Man can take on, the Silver Surfer, but then in the other ones he's struggling against Doc Ock. Like those are story. That's what I'm talking about. Compelling story against Batman and Superman. Like, are we going to give, like again, how is the story going to be written? And I don't mind if Batman loses. It's like, okay, but give me a more compelling story than, Spider-Man flies down, throws a car at him, and then, ends his life. I mean, like, I need more story than that. I need more story than, my spider sense, and then he dodges Batman's attack. Like, come on, there's no story there.
Right. No, it would have to be a really cool that would be a cool story. I don't know if I would want to see that play out. I don't know. It would be one of those. I think it would end up being if they ever did it, it would be like Batman versus Spider-Man, but they really are working together in the comic.
Yeah, just like the Ninja Turtles. I mean, like, that's a great example. Batman versus the Shredder. Like Batman, like that was such an interesting fight. They first meet up, they go at it, and it's ninja versus ninja. Batman has the upper hand for a second, then Splinter has Shredder has the upper hand for a second, and then the Ninja Turtles come in and they meet up with Batman and it talks about family. That's a compelling story. That's what I'm talking. But hands down, like Shredder most likely will own Batman, you know.
Hmm.
But it's a
Yeah,
good fight to
know.
see.
I don't know enough about Shredder to make that call. I know a little bit about him, but not enough to know, you know.
I think that also depends on the suit that Shredder's wearing too, because Shredder's got
Well, but Shredder,
okay,
and, like ability, you know, he's gotten the ooze. He's used the ooze on himself before, you know what I mean? So like,
oh yeah,
you gotta like think about that too. You can't just go
right.
with, you know, comic book Shredder or year one Shredder, you know.
Hmm.
Oh,
I'm talking about Shredder when he's training with Master Splinter, like when they're training in those segments. And then like let's say that him, oh, that would be a perfect story. Shredder meets Batman in the training session that Shredder and Splinter go to. Does that make sense? I forgot who trained Shredder and Splinter, but like they end up at the same dojo. Who's gonna win? No suits, no anything, just
Oh, just
two young guys going at
yeah,
it.
yeah. Who know? I mean, because yeah, that's before Bruce is really Batman, right? That's when he's still training as a ninja. And yeah, so and Shredder and Splinter aren't enemies yet. So he's not the Shredder yet. So who knows? I mean, at that point they're just students. It's all about the seasoning of what their their stories and their epic, adventures and all of that have done to them that makes them, the warriors that they are. Training and all of that is just the shit that gets them off the porch. Right?
Yeah.
It's fun to think about, though. I do hear what you're saying, Reno. I do need to make sure I do my own research before, like, shouting out facts. But like, that's the fun of it, is that that's why everyone has to go and read up where Batman took a year off to go and train with one of the best in order to become the ninja that he is. That's
Right.
compelling story. Beside, like Superman, like I get tired of the same Superman. He doesn't have to do anything to develop heat vision. He just magically gets heat vision, and that's so unfair to me. You know, that's like it's like I don't want to watch that. But that's why I get happy when, of course, if Superman came down and decided to end Batman, he could do it. But what's fun about it is that Batman being a human, I trust Batman to get the job done. I know Batman's going to get the job done. You know, of course, realistically, maybe not. But a compelling, fun story, Batman's going to win every single time because Superman's overpowered.
Right. Yeah, that's my problem with Superman. I don't like that OP shit.
Yeah, and like I gotta read more about Spider-Man, but like that even goes. I don't know for a fact, but I know that Spider-Man hasn't done any ninja training. He went from high school to college. Like his powers are so mass, and yes, we see them grow. But I'm talking about like
a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't really know that Batman is a ninja, and that's another thing. Like doing your due diligence. A lot of people don't know everything about Batman. They just think, oh, Batman doesn't have any powers. Of course, Spider-Man will whoop his ass. You don't really know all the shit that Batman has been through and the shit he's accomplished and who he has beaten and the shit that he had. And he is a ninja. That he's not just a guy who runs around the night in a suit fighting people with a stick. Like he really knows that shit. You know
and
what I
we're
mean?
not
Like,
making this up. This is in the comics. Like in the comics, it starts slowly developing and giving backstory. So it's not like, oh, we're gonna just give him, heat vision. The writers actually go back for 10 years ago. Here's 10 years ago, Batman's learning from Ra's al Ghul, or Batman's doing this. Batman knows Master Sword's play. Batman knows how to, not talk to animals, but like how to, how do you say, like get inside the criminal's mind to calm them down.
Right.
So Batman actually has a lot of, not powers, but a lot of abilities that we write off because we don't know the story.
That's true. That's true.
So the comics too, they also show that he still is learning. Like he'll go do some proper guard or jujitsu and stuff. And he's like actively learning still.
Right.
Like, even though he's the Batman and got that ninja credential,
Damn right. Damn right. Well, y'all, I think we definitely chopped it up as far as the Batman versus Spider-Man Rogues Gallery, and we had one other topic that I know some people are here to talk or want to hear about, and it's the Wrath of Cobra, the GI Joe video game. We've been a lot of us been asking for a GI Joe video game for a long time. We've been like, yo, it's been too long. I'm not fucking satisfied with this. This is not the answer. This is not what I'm talking about. I wanted more of like a Rainbow Six, you know, really dope game where you control your team of characters or whatever. This wasn't what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's a mobile game, right?
It's actually it's a Nintendo Switch game, PC game. So yeah, it looks like a mobile game, but it's decent. It's a side.
Well, I do like how they went back. Like
I love the character design. Yeah, that's what I'm happy about. Black Heroes Club. That's what I'm talking about. The design, the 80s design of the characters. That's really cool because normally you wouldn't get that. You'd get some new, versions of them or whatever. But looks like you get Roadblock, Scarlet, Duke, Snake Eyes, and Gung Ho. Interesting roster. I'm not surprised to have Snake Eyes here, Duke and Scarlet, Roadblock. Gung Ho, I'm a little surprised they picked him out of all the other characters. I'm glad they did. He's one of my favorites. Love Gung Ho. He's really cool. But the game itself, announced is supposed to come out next year, 2024. It's supposed to be like a retro style arcade beat 'em up title set within the universe of GI Joe called GI Joe Wrath of Cobra. It will be available on Nintendo Switch and PC. But Wrath of Cobra and the retro style beat 'em up set in the timeless GI Joe universe is from developer Maple Powered Games and a publisher Freedom Games. Basically, they just announced this, so it's pretty new. We don't know a whole hell of a lot about it. I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot to it. You know what I mean? It's a side scroll. You wield an arsenal of weapons and explode different shit. Yo, what's up?
I don't really know a lot about GI Joe. Like I feel horrible about that. But like, what are your takes? Like, I understand what you're saying about the game, but what are your takes about the upcoming movies? What are your takes about what you want to see? Because I don't know about you guys. I don't know a lot about GI Joe, and I only have like the movies to go based off of.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't care about a Transformers GI Joe crossover when I still haven't gotten a decent GI Joe movie.
Maybe you'll get that within the crossover, unfortunately.
That's all my hope is holding out for. Yeah, that's what I'm holding out for, is that possibility that maybe that might happen, but who knows? Because I mean, it's possible, and it's really possible. Like, all they got to do to satisfy me is give me the characters that I know and recognize. Make them look like the characters that I remember how they look. You know what I mean? Like, don't make me guess and go, I wonder who that is and all this shit. Like, what the fuck?
They all look the same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the different characters, they all look the same almost.
They look incredible. Yeah, well, they look if you saw the recent, any of the G.I. Joe live action movies, only the very last one they did had characters like Firefly, who was awesome, but played by the late Ray Stevens, who just passed. He's in Ahsoka. He was cool as Firefly. Some of the characters were cool like that, but for the most part, Snake Eyes, there was an improvement on Snake Eyes in that movie. He looked a little better. Storm Shadow was cool. I'm trying to think, but Cobra Commander, we never got the OG Cobra Commander helmet or hood, which is very detrimental. Destro, for Christ's sake, we never got a Destro that looks like Destro. Let me see who else. We know Zartan, fucking no Zartan. The Crimson Twins, can we get Tomax and Zaymont? Any of the Joes, Beachhead, Shipwreck, Outback, Flint Flint had like 2 lines, and I think he like clipped the fence and went under it and like tackled was it like a little guard post in one scene, and like that was it. We never saw or heard from him again. And I think we just knew it was Flint because I think they mentioned his name in passing, which is a crime. Okay, Flint, if you don't know, is one of the main characters of the original cartoon. He's one of the top ranking members of the team. I mean, he's like a main guy, and he was completely shadowed over skimmed over in the movie. I'm trying to think who else is like a main guy. Well, Spirit is someone they never gave us. We never got a barbecue or a Lady J or a Scarlet. Really, well, we did. I think they did give us Scarlet. She was
She had
okay.
they had that love storyline between her and Duke. Duke,
Which is fine. Duke and Scarlet having a love story is cool. That's fine from the comics and the cartoon. Flint, we need Flint and Lady J. We need Destro and Baroness. We never got like a really cool Baroness. But yeah, like I would love to see a great live action G.I. Joe movie. It's just that they have to give me the characters that I, make me be able to recognize, and that's all I really ask for. So if they did that in this Transformer crossover, I'd be like, cool. But I don't think they've established that yet. And if they're gonna do anything like any of the movies that we've gotten so far, then no, you're like I couldn't care less about it.
This Transformer thing crossover happened in the comics, or like did it actually happen in your time, or is this something new they're doing?
No, this happened in the comics. Did they have a cartoon? I'm not sure if there was a cartoon. It's slipping my mind. It definitely happened in the comics. I think definitely more than once. It's a pretty common thing. It's a shared universe. Mask is another one that's shared. Apparently the Mask and G.I. Joe universes are connected. But definitely the Transformers and G.I. Joe universe is connected. So it makes sense. It's not like just a weird gimmicky thing. Oh, they're throwing Transformers and G.I. Joe together to like a cash grab. No, it's a thing. Like it makes sense, I guess. I never cared for it, but they did it. It's Hasbro or whatever, and they did it. But the game, the video game, the retro beat 'em up, is set within the universe of the G.I. Joe series of toys and cartoons and shit from, that we know from the 80s. The developer said G.I. Joe is an absolute classic franchise with one of the best fan bases. Working on this game is a dream come true, and it's been a blast creating the game I've always wanted to see for G.I. Joe. Now, this is nothing like the game I've always wanted to see for G.I. Joe. I don't understand anyone saying this is the game they've always wanted to see for G.I. Joe. Raw talk, can I get an amen, sir? Can you feel me? Come on, bro. Hop in here, bro. This new game is very I don't know. It's just not it, man. Like it's cool. It's fun. Like, it's cool. Okay, whatever. But like, I want a real game, like a real AAA video game. We have not had a G.I. Joe, not a AAA video game, and it's long overdue. It's long overdue.
Like you could do so much with that. So much.
They gotta tap into that.
It feels like it's just a nostalgia grab, and they just kind of reuse some old Ninja Turtle side-scrolling games just to kind of, get the 30 plus, 40 plus people to come in and be like, oh yeah, I want to play that, and I don't think it's going to be that popular after the first few months, maybe.
Oh yeah, it'll get into obscurity.
Hey, Reno, let me ask you
like
this.
A game like this, I just want to say, is good for stirring up interest and making other developers go, okay, people, there is a market for a G.I. Joe video game. That's cool. Like, I hope it does that. But what are you gonna say, Black Heroes?
That's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna see if they'd ever had another video game before, but no, they haven't.
Yeah, for some reason they didn't tap into that. I'm not really sure how. I don't know how they haven't done that.
Yeah.
Was there a G.I. Joe versus Predator? Did you guys face off against Predator?
I vaguely remember a G.I. Joe video game at some point in the past. I just can't think of it. It definitely didn't stand out. G.I. Joe versus Predator, I don't know if they did. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Predator versus Wolverine's about to come out, but we'll talk about that. Raw talk, man. Check your email, bro. I don't know if I have your right email address, but hit me up on Instagram, man, because I think your email keeps getting erased from my email. So there he is. Okay, I did get him with the email. All right. That's your email then.
Peace.
Good.
Yeah, get things and
So you're familiar with the game Rainbow Six, the Tom Clancy game, right? I was thinking a game in that sort of style, whereas you sort of have command of 6 different characters at once. They're a team. You go, you complete missions and shit like that. That would be fucking dope with a GI Joe team, because Joe's having all their very unique abilities and specialties, and you'd have like these characters. It'd almost be like a dope RPG team. Your fighter, your mage, your cleric, the different shit like that. So I think it would be fucking amazing. Or even an RPG would be fucking sick. But that's just the style of shit I'm into. I like third person shit the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
That was the exact game I was thinking about when you were talking about it too. That's the exact game, man. Like,
Rainbow Six
yeah,
perfect.
but do you think that would actually introduce the characters very well? Like if they did an RPG game, like how do you think they would introduce the characters? Because like I said, I don't know.
I don't think there's a better way. I don't think there's a better way to introduce characters than an RPG, because you have the story. You're right. You can introduce the character in the story as it unfolds. It is the best way to really introduce a character and really learn who they are. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the RPG, you learn more about them. If it's just an action game or a side scroll, you just have their name in a select screen and you pick. You don't really know shit about them. But an RPG, like, you're meeting them, they're talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you interact with them. Maybe you meet them along the way. Or maybe it's like a situation where each mission has different parameters and you pick your team based on what you need. You know what I mean? Like, that would be cool.
That would be dope. I mean, in the past they had GI Joe for Atari.
Okay.
You know.
Oh snap! Atari.
Back then. Also, I think they also had something for the NES. I'm not too sure. Quote me on it, but they had something there. But as far as video games introducing, I think it'd be dope. If you had a like a Call of Duty type deal, that'd be the best way to really open up the world of GI Joe. And then of course they can make tons of money by you can add on weapons and accessories and things of that nature.
Right.
So I think that'll be dope. But for the time being, they're just cash grabbing the hell out of GI Joe. So
yeah,
anything.
Also, if you think about the 10 different waves that you have from like 82 to 92, it's a lot. It's a big roster, and you can have a Fortnite type free-for-all game where you can pick from any one of those characters. I mean, it's a lot of different ways they could do it, man, and it's a lot of different games they could do, and I think they should do. I hope GI Joe makes a real comeback right now. This classified toy line is blowing the fuck up. Wildly popular in the toy collection community. It's the most fastest growing brand out there.
Got my shipment today.
Yeah. Oh, which ones did you get? You
Valkyries.
The Valkyries. Yeah, Valkyries.
Bowls next week.
Yeah. Guess what I got coming, bro. Guess what got shipped out today.
What,
you ain't gonna believe it.
The Hiss.
Tunnel Rat.
Low
Light, Firefly, and Snow Serpent.
Nice.
Not even available in the US right now.
I know there's a guy that's going heavy on the gram. He's posting heavy. He's doing heavy things with them Joes, man. I even hit him up. And
they make them in Asia and Taiwan and all that. And so we're not getting those characters until like November. And they've got him over there already. And so he's like, he had the bright idea of like, oh yeah, I'm over here. I might as well fucking ship them back home. And so, yeah, like a few of us, because he was doing Star Wars stuff. And a few of us were like, yo, you need to get into this G.I. Joe shit. And he was like, okay, cool. And like a couple of the guys, there was like telling him which ones to get and all of that. And he started getting them. And I think I'm like maybe the third guy to order from him, but he's blowing up. Like he's doing big numbers already. Because those characters, like it's frustrating to know that we can't get them characters, and they're out. They're there. They're available. It's like, why can't they ship them over here? I don't. You know what I'm saying? Why do we have to wait till November? I got a guy who's mailing them to me right now.
Bro, money, bro. Like, if I can hold off and get a lot of people to do pre-orders, I'm gonna make a lot more money than let's just like do it all right now, bro. It's all about money.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
with
the
pre-orders, they don't get paid until they ship them,
right?
You know, so that's kind of like messed up.
I hear what you're saying, but with the pre-order, if you pay for a pre-order, they have the money, and then they are able to like put it into an account, and they use that money for production and marketing.
They don't touch my money. They don't do that with Hasbro.
They don't do no
pre-orders.
Yeah,
what
they don't.
happens is once they ship them, they give you the email saying they're shipping, and that's when they take their money out. They don't take it beforehand, unless you're thinking about HasLab. HasLab.
Yeah, HasLab, you buy it, you pay up.
All right, let me ask you this. So, like, I'm talking about books too.
You're
like
talking
when I
about
think pre-order, is that with all? Well, okay, so just this certain company doesn't take their money until they ship it.
No. Like most companies, when you pre-order items, you don't have to have any money in your bank account until they're ready to ship it. When they ship it, put some money in your bank, and it's gonna come out or whatever. You know what I mean?
Man, somebody's been gypping me then, bro. Because every time I do a pre-order, I have to pay for the pre-order, and then I get the book later on. Then I wait for the book.
Well, if you, I don't know about books per se, but I know like with action figures, Target is one store that I don't know why. When you pre-order something from them, they take what's called an authorization hold. They don't take your money, but it comes out of your available balance, and it sits in an authorization hold until the item ships. So in all intents and purposes, as far as you're concerned, you've spent the money already. You can't touch it no more, and you'll never get it back. And your item will come in 6 months or whatever. So as far as you're concerned, you've spent the money already. So Target is the only store that does that. I refuse to pre-order from Target. Because of that reason. It's bullshit. But none of the other stores do that.
Hey, thanks for that info, because I've been getting like, I thought that you had to pay for. What about Xbox? Because now I'm kind of tripping in my mind. So like Xbox, if I when I pre-ordered Madden, I had to pay for Madden, and then I got like a discount. I got a huge discount. I only paid like $14 for it, but it took until it actually came out for me to get it.
That was a digital pre-order?
Maybe I'm tripping, but I thought that that's how all pre-orders worked. I thought that a pre-order was where you buy the product and then wait until it comes out.
I don't know if it depends from different type of products or maybe different type of vendors or whatever, but I know that with comics, like any of the stuff that I got, like the Night Terror stuff, I got from a company called Things from Another World, and you go in there and you can literally select all the comics you want to pre-order, and they go all into your little account, and they go, the order goes in, but like Real Talk was saying, the money don't come out your account until they're ready to ship. They'll send you an email, say here's your order, it's getting ready to ship, and then they'll hit your card and it comes out. But you can have your shit ordered months ahead, and they don't take your money until it ships. Same thing with most stores with the toys.
Unless like I order a lot of LPs and stuff and albums, and sometimes they have like preset date, and then they'll charge you because there's already preset date it's going to release, and then you already know when you're getting it.
Right. And Black Heroes, there is there is some situations, some types of pre-orders where you do pay up front. I mean, it's not unheard of, but in these cases, no.
And then with Hasbro, now if you look at the fine print, almost fine print, they'll say, oh, some may ship early, some may ship later. So you don't know when they're gonna hit your. So it's just like, now. These Valkyries were supposed to drop September? Oh no, October or something like that.
Right.
And the bubbles. So it's like, now you hit my account now like crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
automatic thing, or do you go through manually and like look for what's coming out, or do you got to set up where like if it's coming out, it comes out your account?
No, you got to go and find it and be like, oh, I want that and pre-order.
Yeah. And then they'll give you an estimated shipping time, and they really mean estimate because they can, just like now they're pushing everything up because of what's going on with the shipping crisis, quote unquote, that's going on now, and everybody's getting hit, man. There's some people like, yo, I had to cancel stuff because it was hitting it too early. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Yeah, I used to work with FedEx, man. Like that was happening back in 2012. Like it's been a big, huge thing. The post office service was going to close down because there wasn't enough mail. So they had to open up a contract with Amazon in order to like win bids and win like mail slots and everything. So the shipping industry is, it's either going to go downhill or hopefully they can lower their prices so we can afford to ship. But even shipping a little media mail comic that I do for like prizes cost me cost me $6 to ship a comic. Like that's only worth $1. Like, come on, bro.
Yep. That's why I never ship one comic. I always stack them up.
Exactly.
Like if people like when I sold comics, I would encourage people like get as many as you can because you're paying for the shipping and you're gonna pay whether you buy $1 comic or $500 comics, you're paying the same $10 for shipping or whatever it is. But yeah, media mail is cool. You can do that with comics. You can't really do it with toys or anything. But with people with the internet and people buying from home and shopping from home more often, I mean, shipping is just a business now. It's a whole industry.
Yeah.
The post office is just a one player in a huge fucking industry now. But the Transformers are back to the comics earlier this summer in Skybound. Skybound is the new imprint, the new publisher from Image Comics. It's under Image Comics. It's called Skybound Comics. They now have G.I. Joe and Transformers. They've got a title called Void Rivals by Robert Kirkman, who is the guy that did Walking Dead, bunch of shit. And
so what have you heard about them? Because like I said, I don't want to go in. Is it like DC Rebirth? Is it going to be like a revamp? Is it going to like original characters? Like what are they going to do with it?
Well, this new series definitely is drawing from the Transformers world in a new way, which it does have a reference to the 1986's Transformers the movie, and coming from the creative team of Robert Kirkman and Dave Felici and Russ Wooten. This new issue, Void Rivals #3, picks up the story of Dirac and Solia, who both managed to escape from the moon, only to have their ship commandeered by another enemy, which is a mercenary of an alien race of scavengers who travel on a large rock-shaped ship. It's a lot of shit. It's dope though. But Void Rivals pays homage to the 1986 Transformers the movie, which is a classic cartoon, and as the debut title in Skybound's new Energon universe, which is a shared continuity between Transformers, G.I. Joe, and I guess all the different iterations of those. It's called Energon universe. But yeah, it's a dope. It's coming through the comics. It's coming through the movies. They're really trying to merge Transformers and G.I. Joe. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of that whole idea. Just because I don't think they really go together. It's like when you're a little kid, like certain toys, you couldn't play with
exactly.
toys.
Yeah,
it doesn't go together. G.I. Joe toys, they didn't. I mean, but I guess Transformers could work because they're giant robots and G.I. Joes were small, so I guess it kind of actually worked perfectly, and maybe that's why they were so quick to make that connection, because of the size of the toys.
I wonder if it's a money thing. Like, I don't want to get into money and business, but it has to be a business thing where they're trying to merge two communities together so that they can get more money and help
they were always from the same. I mean, they're always from the same camp, though. I mean, Transformers and GI Joe, ever since the '80s, have been from Hasbro. They've always been under the same umbrella anyway. So it's not like a new thing that they're putting them together. They always sort of came from the same place.
And it's in the comic too. G.I. Joe was Transformers comic, so
right,
where you have it colliding.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely something that's happened a few times in the comics. And Transformers and G.I. Joe were both basically toy lines that had cartoons, which were basically long commercials for those toy lines. That's all they were. It was just ads for the toys. That's all they were. It's just they made us kids want to buy the toys. That was their whole purpose for existing. Yeah. And that's why the stories were random. The show, I mean, I don't know if you watched that show lately. Like, I've been rewatching G.I. Joe like in the morning and shit before work. I'll throw it on. And the stories are very random. They're very like each person, like each episode's written by someone else. It's not like there's some cohesive thread, but not much. Like I said, they really weren't all about story. They were all about spectacle, and it was an ad for toys.
Some of the same voice actors as well.
And it's not, and that's why it's hard to make a live action, adaptation, because it's like, what are you adapting? What was the story? What do you tell? There is no story. Like the G.I. Joe cartoon didn't start and here's the story as it developed. It was just an episodic show. It wasn't like a, whatever, the episode, what's the opposite of episodic? It wasn't that. But yeah, so it's hard to make a adaptation when you don't have a real story, a real source to really pull from. So that's why I think it's so important for the characters to look and be who they are supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like when you take something like G.I. Joe where it's all about the characters and very little about the story, and you put it and you make a movie and you change the way all the characters look and sound and act and behave and their roles and everything, then it's like, what even is it? Well, it's unrecognizable. If you don't know G.I. Joe, if you watch the G.I. Joe movies and you're a G.I. Joe fan, it's unrecognizable.
Yeah.
90%.
Yeah, they tried to adapt G.I. Joe to the current time. They didn't try to like tell people like this is what G.I. Joe was. They were trying to say like this is what it could be now.
Right. But it's like none of them, nobody looked like who, like Cobra Commander don't look like Cobra Commander. You know what I mean?
Only in the second movie. He kind of favored himself in the second movie.
Yeah, the second one, the one with Firefly with Ray Stevens, that one they did a little better. I will give it to them on that. But still, I think it's more important to keep the characters. Snake Eyes.
That movie was not good. Woo, that movie was not good.
I mean, first of all, Snake Eyes doesn't talk. That's number one. That's a main character trait. He does not speak, never has.
In the comics.
In the comics, he did. Yeah, they showed his origin and all that. Yeah. But I mean, in the cartoon, he never spoke. So little kids, we don't recognize him as speaking. So, but he spoke all through the movie. Never wore the mask until the very last scene, and in the last scene, he puts on the mask, and it's a motorcycle helmet. Like, I was devastated, bro. I was like, what even is it?
I can tell that scarred you because that's like the third or fourth time you brought that up, bro. That was scarring.
Yeah, that hurt. It hurt me.
Traumatic.
It was a wasted opportunity, to really bring the G.I. Joe franchise to another level.
Yeah,
I mean, really, they went off on origins. Now they were trying to do the Lady J origin, the Hawk origin. No, we don't need any origins, man. Just throw them together like the cartoon and let it rock. You don't need famous people too much. You don't need it. These characters are famous by themselves.
Right.
I do want to see some origin stories though. Like, I hear what you're saying. I don't want to see Hulk again. I don't want to see Superman again. But I would like to actually see like an origin story of Robin. You know, an origin story of like the Green Goblin. That would be fun to see. The Legion of Doom. We were talking about that the other week. Legion of Doom. I would like to see them do an origin story based off of that, or like Gorilla Grodd. Like, those are the origin stories I want to see. But the same old, you know, I don't want to see Batman or Superman again.
But you know, with the origin stories with those characters, because those are like, although they're rogues, but they're they're not like pivotal roles.
Not main
evil baddie. So those guys, even in the cartoons, they were like an accent to the bigger plot of, you know, the different villains. So it's like, I understand what you're saying with the Gorilla Grodd. I like Gorilla Grodd. I think one of the dopest. But you know, it's basically Planet of the Apes.
He wouldn't come across. It wouldn't.
But that's a good point. They stopped the Planet of the Apes. Like, I wanted to see more. They stopped the production of the Planet of the Apes. They were supposed to do an like a 3-part series on it and everything, but they stopped. Like, I want to see more. Like, they didn't even do like they had so much set up with the Planet of the Apes. Like, they did such a great job.
Like, they never got to the part of the old movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I wanted to see that, and
except in that reboot, that one reboot they did with
Mark reboot.
Mark Wahlberg was in it. Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg. Which one was that?
Planet of the Apes.
That was
Mark
technically,
Wahlberg?
that was technically supposed to be the first one.
Oh, yes. Okay, I was like,
but if you guys know this, they ran with that. They ended up making that the first, but they didn't trash it. But they were like, all right, that's the first one. Yeah. But then they did such a good job with the other movies and building it up that they were able to scrap that movie and still save the franchise. But technically, that's the first movie. Mm-hmm. Like, that's technically still the first movie, you know? Mm-hmm. Like how we talk about the MCU, how technically Iron Man was the first movie.
Or Hulk.
Oh, yeah, Hulk, you know, those are technically the first movies. That's what they did with Planet of the Apes. And I wanted to see more. I wanted to see, and I don't know, I guess like my dad loved the Planet of the Apes, and he used to make me watch them. He didn't make me watch them. Like, I fell in love with watching Planet of the Apes.
But yeah, that's that age. Yeah, my dad that's that, because that's when they came out. Those movies were crazy as fuck to people. Like, what? Yeah. Your boy, my homeboy, Giancarlo Esposito. I say my homeboy like we chill.
Hey, hablo español?
Hey, nah, not really. Yeah, that's my boy right there.
Piquito,
a little bit.
Have you seen I Am Saul? Have you seen him in I Am Saul? Because he is absolutely relentless in I Am Saul, bro.
Better Call Saul?
I said I Am Saul. Better Call Saul. Yeah, Better Call Saul. My bad.
Yeah, bro. I love fucking the Breaking Bad universe. Better Call Saul is phenomenal. But he's also going to be appearing in a DC movie following talks with James Gunn, which is fucking exciting. So it's unknown like what roles they were talking about, but he did sort of tease at the Comic-Con in Panama in 2023. His Twitter user Swisher V captured his comments during the Q&A at the convention, and in the little video he said that him and Gunn talked regarding, well, he said the possibility of being in a movie was all he would say. And you know, DC was not mentioned directly. It was implied that they were discussing a DCU production before the SAG-AFTRA strike. Esposito also added off camera that he would rather play a superhero than a villain, which is interesting because he's so known for being villains now.
He probably doesn't want to be typecast anymore.
But I think he's like, okay, let me.
I can see him as Dr. Fate. I really can see him. Like what they did with Dr. Fate and Black Adam. Like, I hated that, But him as Dr. Fate would actually be worth seeing, bro.
Hey,
that would be good. That's a good one.
I mean,
that's a good idea.
I can't see it.
Sometimes you have to wear.
I want to see him as like Lex Luthor or something cool like that. Like he's the ultimate bad fucking genius villain. Yeah, I think a good Lex.
Sometimes you have to wear your typecasting because
That's
people
true.
love you. People love you like that. I mean, I see him in the Marvel universe as the leader. I see him as the leader.
I could definitely see that.
That fits.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that fits.
That's my guy since Fresh.
Word.
Little Fresh.
Yeah. Oh, you can take it back to Miami Vice.
Oh yes.
Hey. Yes. But yeah, man, he I met him at GalaxyCon like last year, and yeah, he was pretty cool. He was talking about do the right thing and shit. I was like, yo, I keep trying to get him on the show, y'all. I can't promise nothing, but hey, maybe one day. But
hey,
yeah,
it's absolutely possible if you have enough followers and everything. It's all you got to do is talk to his person, and absolutely, bro.
All right, we've had some decent sized players on the show. We've had some cool people on the show. Pharaoh Monch and J. Rooted Damager and Ed Pisker and Jimmy Palmiotti.
I want to get the Will Smith level. Like I would love that.
I want Method Man. If I want to talk to Method Man, that's my main goal. Is Method Man or the RZA or Ghostface, somebody from the Wu, to talk about hip hop and comics. I think that would be the ultimate interview for the show. Like that's the goal. Once I get the Wu-Tang interview, and everything after that don't matter. We can just have fun after that. But that's where we headed. But Esposito has dope experience playing villains and shit like Gus Fring and Moff Gideon and you know what I'm saying. I think again Lex Luthor was probably the most obvious candidate, and James Gunn has yet to announce a Lex Luthor for this next film, Superman Legacy. And Esposito obviously could pull it off. He just played Stan Edgar in The Boys, which was a very interesting character. He also already the voice of Lex Luthor in the Harley Quinn series. So
are you guys excited about James Gunn?
No,
I am. I am. I think he's the best thing that's happened to comic movies, but that's just me.
I like him.
Yeah, but he's only done like the Guardians of the Galaxy and
my favorite.
I forgot with the other ones. Yeah, but like, what has he really done that DC is going to be able to?
Well, the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's going to try and transplant that. I feel like he's going to try and transplant that into the DCU, which is, in my opinion, not the answer. But we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. I don't want
to see where it goes. I want them to just end it now. I don't want to see where it goes.
I agree with Sada.
Let me explain.
But go ahead.
Sada's not wrong. Sada's not wrong.
He already did that with the what was the
Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad. He already did that. Yeah. James Gunn is good with jerk off characters.
He's good with with
Doom
like
Patrol.
Unknowns. Yeah, like really, unknown.
Yeah,
that's why I'm interested to see what he's gonna do with a Superman, and you know what I'm saying. Like I'm interested to see what happens because listen, here's my take on it. Here's why I say out of the MCU, the Guardians movies are my favorite. After all the Marvel shit failed, they still came back. I still think the third movie was just as good. You know what I'm saying? Amidst all the shit that Marvel has spewed out recently, it was the only good, decent thing. And you know what he's done with DC, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, the characters and shit that he's had in there, the way that the movies came off, the way that the shows came off. If he's gonna do more like that with characters like, I don't know, Swamp Thing and Jon Stewart and Creature Commandos and the Authority, I'm interested. Like I'm definitely interested to see what that's gonna be like. I'm not like, oh, it's gonna be the shit, guaranteed. He's the fucking man. There's no question. You can't. Definitely not. It could fucking go south real easy. It could be utter trash, but I don't think so. I think.
But like the
I think
problem
it's
is
gonna be
like
okay.
they can't afford that right now. They can't
They
afford to just like put all their eggs in
Amen.
James Gunn and be
Amen.
like, yeah, give us that success. Like they can't
Yeah.
afford that right
There's
now. Like
Amen.
it's been literally 7 bombs in a row with DC.
Amen.
So it's like, you know,
setting them up for failure.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, James Gunn, I don't know, like maybe he could do something, but ultimately, I don't know, because he's keeping all of his projects, all of his characters, and bringing that into a universe that's supposed to be a hard reboot. So already you're going to confuse consumers who are trying to maybe come into this with a fresh slate, try to get the bad taste of the DCEU out of their mouths. I just don't know if that's going to be possible with James Gunn, because personally, I don't want to see his signature over an entire universe. I just don't believe that's going to translate well. Like certain characters, sure, but the fact that he's overseeing the universe creatively, I don't want that. I don't want one person. I think we need like, I don't know. I just I don't know.
Amen. Like preach, please.
I was like, I think what he's gonna do is brighten it up. You know, that's what he's done with everything. He did the Scooby-Doo reboot. He did Dawn of the Dead.
That part.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then he also did Brightburn, which was like that take on if Superman was bad. You know what I mean?
He did. Yes, he did. Did he? But see,
we were talking about that earlier, like Brightburn. Yeah, but was it realistically good enough to have him get on all?
No, not Brightburn. Not Brightburn isn't, but Guardians is.
But that's a specific like brand of.
I get that.
How he does his storytelling that I don't believe is going to translate with the rest of the DC universe, because the characters are dark in nature, and I just don't think James Gunn's his vision and the way that he tells his stories, I don't think that's going to translate. Not for too long.
Amen.
He's not dark. He's not dark. See, Zack Snyder saw Superman as a god, like as a badass, as the way I like to see Superman. I thought Man of Steel was the best iteration of Superman I've ever seen, and I really liked that take on that character by Zack Snyder. But audiences just did not like that whole Snyderverse. They just didn't jive with his take on it, and so Gunn's take is pretty much the opposite of that. It's not dusty and dark and gritty. It's more vibrant, and even though it can be very dark and violent and you know, bloody and gory, it's still vibrant and colorful and bright and you know what I mean, and loud and I guess that's what they're going for. And I don't like that Boy Scout Superman, but that's Gunn's gonna give you the Boy Scout fucking Mr. fucking everything is roses Superman that I hate, and he's gonna really try to spruce and flower it up. I'm not a fan of that idea, but I do like. Movie? Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think we need another Superman or a young Superman movie. I think we've already seen enough of him in Smallville and him doing all the
TV shows. They have
I want to see
TV
Superman
shows
in outer space fighting fucking gods and shit.
Yeah, I think Gunn, he's gonna give us a Superman that's totally flawed. Like if you look at it, okay, yeah, he's the Boy Scout, but in his being a Boy Scout, he's missing out on the realism of what's really going down. So I think he's going to give you that type of Superman where, oh, yeah, I saved 1,000 people over here, but 14 million perished over here just because I was going for the virtuous way of doing this, and I totally neglected this over here, or a planet blew up over here. They were calling my name. I could have helped them, but you know what I'm saying?
Like with certain characters, like certain characters like that, I think his vision and the way that he it could maybe work with Superman. But if you take that and try to apply it to an entire chapter or phase for a DC, it just does not go. Like I don't want vibrant with DC. I just feel like that goes against the entire nature of DC. I'm not saying they can't, be vibrant at times, but they're just dark in nature. And I just feel like if once again, you're going to try and chase after the MCU, you're going to find yourself in the same position you are right now. So like, what are you really doing that's different than all the other methods you've tried to reinvigorate the DCU? I'm not seeing any difference by bringing James Gunn aboard.
I think honestly, I think I'm selfish with it, because for me, I don't think James Gunn is the answer that's going to save DC. I don't, but I think I think some of his movies and some of the stuff that we're going to get from his stuff is going to be cool, and that's what I like. And I think, like I said, I'm selfish, I guess, because I know some of those are like the Swamp Thing is I'm really excited for. The True Detective Green Lantern thing I'm excited about. Creature Commandos, the Authority.
And it's nothing personal against him. It's not about the personal thing about, oh, I don't want James Gunn. It's about the fact that so many DC movies have bombed, and me being a DC fan, I don't need a famous director. I need you to tell me the story. Hire that guy that sits in the comic book shop that knows how to write. Hire him that's read all of Superman's stories to do the movie. I don't care about the fancy director. I want something DC related that I can relate to. I don't need a famous director. You're spending so much money on a famous director.
You're talking about a perfect world. You're talking about I feel you. Damn right.
I mean, like, my issue is not like, that you feel like, he's not, like you say, he's not the answer. My issue is that WB feels like James Gunn is the answer. That's my issue, because this is like the third time that they've done this, where they try to emulate Marvel in some capacity to chase after the MCU, because they think, that's the answer. And it fails every single time. And they shot themselves in the foot again with having James Gunn do this whole announcement for a rebooted universe when your DCEU is technically not done yet. You still had The Flash. You still have Blue Beetle. Who knows what's going on with Aquaman 2, but that's still technically a thing. But you just told everyone, let's not care about those movies.
Don't care about those.
We need to be successful. We need those to make a profit. Who cares about those movies? Let's just focus on what's to come in like 2 years. Like, it's just not smart. Like, it's
not smart. Yeah.
And they still have Ben Affleck. You got two Batmans in this universe. What are you doing with two Batmans? You have Ben Affleck and you have Robert Pattinson. Pick one. Please pick a Batman that you want.
Well, here's something cool. Actually, that's a cool thing. Let's segue into this, because Matt Reeves is like doing his own fucking universe apparently. And so the Batman 2 is gonna be pretty cool. He's got some cool, like, we're gonna have
wait. Let's be realistic about this. Not to like step on any toes. What's gonna be cool about Batman 2? Please tell me. Are they going to introduce Robin? Are they going to introduce Huntress? Are they going to introduce where Batman is able? Because last Batman, I loved it, but again, it was him versus the Riddler, and that was it. There was nothing special about Robert Pattinson being Batman.
Batman's only as good as his rogues gallery, and which comprises of central villains like the Penguin and the Joker and the Riddler and Catwoman and Mr. Freeze and Two-Face and all the the big. But a lot of these villains have appeared in one way or another, and we've seen them all. And it's like, okay, we've seen that. A lot of Batman villains have been underutilized in terms of action, live action movies. But mainly because they exist in a more fantastical sense. They're not just guys with suits. They're more like special effects heavy. They would be CGI characters. They might be too otherworldly to live in the more grounded Batman universe that comes across usually in live action. And Reeves is following that same format that Christopher Nolan did, in a sense that both trilogies are meant to showcase more realism. So far, Reeves has introduced a more believable version of Penguin, more of a gangster, and the Riddler, especially with Paul Dano's performance, turned him into like a full-blown serial killer psycho. And because of the nature of how Batman is meant to appear as real as possible, it would be hard to include villains like Man-Bat or Dr. Phosphorus and Poison Ivy, and that's not to say that Reeves can't accomplish bringing them in. And I think what is awesome is that what we're gonna get, I think, in Batman 2 finally is fucking Clayface, and I'm excited because I think fans have been begging for his inclusion in the live action world, and we haven't gotten it yet.
Is that all I get from this Batman movie? Is it really? I'm not trying to be negative, but if that's really all I get, is
did you like the first movie?
No, let me take that back. Yes, I did love the first movie. I felt like it was my first take on Batman. He had his relationship with Catwoman, his relationship with the fact that, he's trying to develop and like get over the loss of his parents. I felt like it was very dark. I felt like they had him where he was developing and growing as a character. I love Robert Pattinson as Batman. I wish that he was my first Batman. Andre, Black Heroes Club don't need another Batman right now. I want to see you do something.
Mr.
Different.
Batman fan doesn't need another Batman. You don't want another Batman?
I am a Batman fan. I don't need another. I don't need Clayface. I need Damian Wade. I need Nightwing. I need Luke Fox. I need, I need all these characters.
Damian Wayne's coming. Damian Wayne is coming.
That's what they say. No, that's what they say. They're trying to draw us in. They said the same thing about Flash. They said the same. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, listen. The Brave and the Bold that James Gunn is doing is literally a Damian Wayne story.
Yep.
There's no question.
Okay, but now here's my question. When do they say it's coming out? Because we're still going through these writer strikes. We're still trying to find.
No, yeah.
So they promised us a Flash movie. They promised us a Flash movie. What? How long has it been? 8 years that they finally released this movie? Come on, bro. I don't believe you. I don't trust you.
But
no one in DC has gained my trust.
Consumers don't trust DC right now, and they're right to not do so. That answer is really part of WB's problem. Like, no matter what you say, it goes in one ear and out the other for most people right now, because you've just proven in the past that you either don't deliver or you just deliver in the most shitty way, and it's like, we don't want it. So, that's just kind of part of that's what they have to do, though. They have to really gain back consumers' trust to then gain back their money.
And I love the Batman movie, but no, I don't need Batman. I don't need Man of Steel again. I don't need another Wonder Woman movie. They did wonderful with Wonder Woman. They did okay with Aquaman. Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad.
No, I'm sorry. But you have to understand the reason why they wasn't too heavy on the Flash or moving super fast with the Flash, pun intended, because they had a WB TV series that was very successful.
Right.
Okay, so when you have that, you don't really want to clash. People already know that series, and they love that Flash. So now to transition into a movie to where, okay, this is a new Flash, we're used to this guy. That's why they did that little crossover thing in I think it was the season before last, when you seen the movie Flash and the TV Flash come together. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to bridge that gap, and it was very hard for them because people love the TV show Flash. You know what I mean?
All right.
Should have been the Flash in the movie.
Sata, please help me out with this. I apologize for interrupting, but I want to get a point. Sata, was the Flash movie before or after the CW Flash?
As far as when it came out, it was literally right when the CW Flash was ending. So it came out after the.
When was the Flash supposed to be announced? Was it supposed to come out before Flash CW or after?
Well, it would have been coming out. It would have been coming out while it was still going on, because there were reports it was supposed to come out in 2022, 2021. It's been in development hell since 2014, honestly. So,
and that's my point. That's my point. My point is that they were supposed to have this Flash before the CW Flash. The CW Flash did so well that it took off. The reason why this was put into post-production was because the Flash, I forgot, Elza, whatever his name is, was messing around with somebody that was too young for him, and they had to stop production because of his mess. That was a him problem. I don't mean to get too mean about it, but he destroyed that Flash movie. I don't want to single him out, but they put so much money in the Flash movie. Those characters started messing up in the real world. They weren't able to release the Flash because they had to change up that whole entire Flash movie. The original Flash movie wasn't Yeah, he wasn't supposed to get two people in the Flash. We weren't supposed to get a female Supergirl, Supergirl Kal-El. We were supposed to get a Superman, Batman, all the like. We were supposed to get that in Flashpoint Paradox. That was the original name for the Flash movie, Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah,
And then they
it was
started
supposed to be
changing
based
it,
on the Flashpoint comic, which
Exactly.
I was very excited about that happening, but once I realized that wasn't going to happen, I didn't want that bullshit. But Sada was always saying that wasn't going to happen, and she said
we love
it wasn't going to be
CW
Flashpoint. But I love Flashpoint. I love Flashpoint, and I was really excited they were making a movie about Flashpoint, but obviously, you know, it was nothing like it. So fuck that movie.
But you gotta think that, like,
this is why I don't trust James Gunn.
You gotta look at it from the business point of view.
What?
Like, what they're doing, you don't trust James Gunn.
Why? What does that?
Because he has produced no movies beside Guardians of the Galaxy, which still is like a good movie, but isn't like The Dark Knight Rises. He has shown me nothing in the DC universe.
I think it's better than Dark Knight Rises. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is the best comic book movie ever made.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. Let me hop. Watch that. Hold on.
I think it's the best comic book movie in general ever made. I don't think it might not be your favorite, but it has all.
I feel you. I
checks
will
all the
respect
boxes.
that.
It checks all the boxes. It has all the fucking ingredients.
I believe that it was the funniest, well put together. I will give you that. It is the funniest, well put together superhero movie.
Every MCU movie after that movie tried to do what that movie did. That's why they all became stupid and jokey and goofy, because they were trying to capture the humor that movie just got so perfectly right. And it was just like lightning in a bottle. They couldn't do it again.
Can I say something? Because
yeah.
So what you guys were just talking about, like, what was the last real popular or real famous like DC movie that came out? I mean, I guess it's not really DC, but it was the Joker. You know, that was like acclaimed. Everybody loved it who saw it. They were like, that's the best movie. And I think that's where James Gunn's probably going to end up going to, is that level of reality.
That's how the Batman was.
That's how people learn about the
Batman. Okay, but wait. All of this is
Batman 2. Now that we have confirmation that Clayface is definitely going to be the villain in Batman 2. And personally, out of all the DC shit, the Batman is by far the best thing that we've gotten from DC. By far, I think head and shoulders above everything else. Like, not even. I don't think anything else compares to it.
But like, all of this is a sign that, like, WB, if they don't meddle and they don't try so hard for Connect the Universe, it works, because the two movies you guys just mentioned are not connected to the DCU, and WB really didn't meddle. And when they did try to meddle, the directors put their foot down and said, "No, I'm doing my vision." So that's why Matt Reeves, a lesson for WB. If you let the creatives that you hire actually do their jobs, you might.
And that's why Matt Reeves is like having product. He's like secretly building his own universe and shit, because he doesn't want them involved, because once they try to take the reins, this is what we see what happens. But yeah, you're right, Sada. When you let the artist, when you let the writer fucking have his story, then you'll get a good product. But everyone thinks that their opinion matters the most, and everyone has they want to dip in and have their fucking opinion heard, and in the movie industry.
Said, though, I still, I said that, and I still don't believe, like, I don't believe James Gunn would still be like the right person to helm over the entire universe, just because what we saw, like, with what he announced, with his projects like the Authority, the Creature Commandos, just
they're weird.
It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense to bring in these obscure characters for a first chapter of your brand new universe in the state that DC.
Well, do you want them to do again? It's the big three again. Yes, again.
Yes.
Well, Black Heroes said he didn't want that
universe with Creature Commandos and expect consumers to put money towards something they know nothing about. This is not Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's starting it with Superman.
Okay, well, yeah, but
I don't want him to do that. I don't want him to start with
Creature Commandos comes out before Superman Legacy. and that is a part of the universe. He wants everything connected. So technically,
yeah, it's a cartoon, I think.
Sada, this is James Gunn. This is his method to his madness. He dabbles in the obscurity. This is his strong point. So there's no high expectations when it comes to the obscurity. So he can do whatever he needs to do or whatever he wants to do, because there's nothing like, oh, Batman's supposed to have a blue cape.
Right.
In his world, probably Batman has a gray cape.
Right.
But
and I understand
on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I understand that. But like at the same time, you can't okay, I understand he wants to dabble in the obscurity. Why would you do it in chapter 1 of your DC universe? When he did that with Guardians, he did it in phase 2 after a well-established universe with Avengers, with Iron Man, Captain America. It's like starting the phase 1 with Guardians of the Galaxy. That doesn't make any sense.
He's also dealing with budget.
Yeah, but no.
But we're in a place of superhero movie fatigue, right, or whatever. Like it's superhero madness. Like it's like, so I think he's probably like, we better not just go back and do another fucking Superman, Wonder Woman shit again. Like let's fucking move on now. Like we've done that. We know it. People are fucking sick of it.
Of your universe, you can't start.
They're there. He's making them.
Yeah,
he's making them. They're there. They're in the movie. Like it's a Superman movie. He's gonna have Guardian. I think he's got Green Lantern.
But
they are be in the forefront. Why am I hearing more about an Authority film than whether or not Wonder Woman is even going to be present in the first chapter of the DCU? Why? That doesn't even make sense to me.
I'm with Sada on this.
It's something new. I think because it's something new.
What's new about it, though? What is new about it?
I don't think that's smart.
What's new about it is the characters that he's developing under these obscure titles, right? And not to mention, he has a way of introducing the main characters into his obscure character selection.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. I got one question for you guys.
With DC, I just don't like that. That logic doesn't work to me.
Like Galaxy, nobody knew about Guardians of the Galaxy until he brought them out, and all of a sudden they blew up. You know, and that was
my point.
In the comic books, the team put together. You know,
and then he might be just that big.
One question
However,
for everyone.
He was able to take that risk because we already had a well-established MCU with the Avengers. After phase 1, they had the leeway to take risks like bringing in the Guardians of the Galaxy. You can't copy and paste that over with DC in their first chapter. I don't believe that's going to work.
Look at the history.
What is
people love this goofy shit. They love the Peacemaker shit. They love this shit. They love that Suicide Squad. People are fucking eating that shit up. They're like, more of that, please. Like, okay, Superman, Wonder Woman, all that shit, but no, more of that shit. That's what I think. That's what they're. Maybe they're biting off too much of it. Maybe you have a point there, but I just think that's their thinking.
Wait till he has movie, the Deathstroke, Terminator. Wait till you see that one.
That's okay. But my question is that what is the plan with WB with Aquaman and the new Batman with Robert Pattinson? What is their plan for those movies?
So the Batman is an Elseworlds in their Elseworlds title, so it's not part of the main continuity. Yeah, it's like.
So why are they taking that money from James Gunn? Give that money to James Gunn to do something good with DC. If you're gonna redo it,
they are. James Gunn has the money. Reeves is doing his own thing. Just like the guy that did Joker did his own thing. The whole thing with Aquaman and all of that, that's basically a leftover movie from the DCEU that we, I guess, have to see for some reason. We've all been told not to care about it. It doesn't matter anymore. That fucking continuity's over.
Yeah, so why? Right, but James Gunn still needs permission to do these movies because they're still owned under the copyrights of WB. So he still has to go for permission in order to do these movies.
Yeah.
He's the CEO now.
Yeah, but there's still red tape that he has to go through regardless to get these movies done.
Aquaman, the reason why they got to move forward with Aquaman because everything has been signed and paid for.
Yeah.
So you got Momoa.
It's a lot of money.
He's been.
It's like another bomb by WB.
So they have
another bomb. A movie that's not going to even be in James Gunn's series. Come on, it's going to be a trash movie.
I mean, we may
think
movie
might be great.
honestly,
it might be great, but I think financially it's going to be a bomb. Like
I found Flash to be exciting. Honestly,
if it is great, okay. Like I'm not so naive to say it won't be great, but then what happens? Okay, you have a great movie, but now it doesn't fit into the DC. So what happens now? Okay, Aquaman 2 is the best movie since 1980.
See,
what
but
now?
Financially, and that's why I'm talking about. I'm selfish. Like as far as DC becoming, succeeding and all of that, I don't know. But like,
you gotta remember,
and financially, like I liked that movie. I think it was good. Did it blow up and did they make a lot of money on it? I don't give a fuck. I liked it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You may not, and that's totally cool. But like WB, they need to give a fuck. That once again, another movie in a row did not show up financially. That's a problem, and like you need to think when you go forth when setting up this DCU. And I don't know. I just don't know right now.
Who was thinking that an Iron Man movie was going to come out and do better than a Hulk or Captain America?
Well, that was a risk. That was a risk.
Nobody.
But see, that's what makes it even more frustrating. That's what makes it more frustrating because Marvel, they didn't have their A-listers. They didn't have access to Spider-Man. They didn't have access to X-Men and the Fantastic Four, and they still made it work because of good writing and good sense. And DC, you have access to your titular characters, and you still failed. How do you manage to do that? Like I don't understand.
If Iron Man would have failed, there would be no Avengers Endgame on everything.
Well, technically, if Blade would have had,
and DC shouldn't try so hard to recreate that.
Blade.
Wait a second. Blade
was the catalyst for all of the MCU.
Oh, absolutely.
I disagree with that. You're talking about Blade is
Sony.
Listen.
No, he's not saying that it's connected or part of it. He's saying that the success of that movie. Listen, the success of that movie made motherfuckers go, okay, comic book movies can be for adults. They can work. They can sell. So that's what it did.
So here's my question for you. So here's my question for you. How much did Blade, all three movies, bring in order to say that it was a good superhero movie? How much money was brought in?
Why is that?
It matters. This is why it matters. The reason why it matters because later on they do the Hulk, they do Howard Duck, they did the Fantastic Four. Why didn't these movies? These movies did just as well as Blade. They weren't as popular, but those movies came out after Blade, and yet it didn't do anything.
Howard the Duck was way before Blade.
Yeah,
right. But my point is
and that kitty ass Fantastic Four was too. They didn't do well. Blade was the first one that did well.
Right. And my point in that is saying
it's the first comic movie that did well enough that big studios, major studio. This has been said, bro. Studio execs have said this in interviews. Like this is a known thing. They've all said this. Blade was the movie that made them all go, okay, this can be done. Like we can spend money on this. We can put money behind this. This is something that is feasible and adults will buy it. You can say, it wasn't connected and all. It wasn't part of the MCU. That's a whole different conversation. Yeah, whole different conversation.
Now, if you're talking about DC and all the bombs DC has, always remember these companies they can write off things, right? They write off,
right.
Also, they get subsidies from the government. This is why you got these holdups going on now with the writers and actors. Because the government has subsidized Hollywood for so long. So right now, government is telling them they don't have the money to subsidize them. So that's why you gotta strike in the back end. Because now Hollywood don't really want to pay the money because without the government subsidizing them, they don't want to put the money up. They want to put the money up when the government subsidizes them. So when you see these bombs happening, they can sit back and have a bomb. Yeah, they can write it off and get their money and everything. So they don't mind bombs at the end of the day. They would love to have billions of dollars, but the bombs, we bomb. We're gonna make another Batman. We're gonna make another Joker. We're gonna make as many Supermans as we want. As long as the government subsidizes us.
Because when you hear about those
terrible
bombs,
mindset to have, like, oh, I don't mind having like a financial bomb. That's not longevity. That's not gonna fly. Not for too long. When it comes down to having fans show up at the theater, they're not gonna show up because you've proven again and again and again that you just don't deliver.
But you remember, the industry is controlled by businessmen instead of creatives. That's the conundrum right there.
Yeah.
The creatives want more and can do more, but the businessman is like, nah, we're not going that route. We're doing this.
We don't need that. That costs too much.
So
right. We can do it cheaper and make more off the and that's why they're always going to try and do it for the least amount and make the most. That's always going to be the goal.
And I'm hearing you guys, and don't get me wrong, because you guys actually had spit some facts that I didn't know about, but you're right. So when I see it from a business point and aspect, I hear what you guys are saying. I just still disagree with Blade, because on a business aspect, yeah, it made money, but you had so many other different movies.
It's not about how much money it made or not. It's about it made studio execs and people that matter, people that make decisions. However much it made enough that they said, okay, it's a viable genre that we can start making plans about. That's
okay,
all.
But then why didn't they say that about? I feel you. You know what? I can agree. I can agree in that aspect. I just see it where it's like
that's just what they said. I'm just telling you what.
Yeah, no, I feel you, because again, like after when you say Blade or when people say Blade, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because I see like, man, you had Fantastic Four, you had Hitchcock, or not Hitchcock, Hancock. You had.
But you love Blade though.
Yeah, but see what Blade.
I didn't like Blade.
As a franchise, it made over $417 million for the time it came out. And that was big.
That's
that was big back then. Yeah, that was big.
As a franchise.
No, but as a Black Heroes Club, you know what I'm saying? Blade is a Black hero. For a Black hero, did that.
They did that in a time when you have a Black superhero. They made, as a franchise, $417 million. And that was unheard of for a superhero film of that caliber.
Yeah,
anti-hero. He wasn't even a superhero. He was an anti-hero. You know what I'm saying? So
most people didn't even know he was a comic book character at all. Most people had no idea he was a comic book character.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this because I didn't like Blade because I wasn't into vampires. I wasn't grown up into like thinking like with the rules of him being a daywalker. I didn't really like Marvel to begin with. The only person I liked from Marvel was Spider-Man. I don't feel like Blade's character development did very well in the comics. I believe that, okay, we made him into a vampire. And like I didn't, but that's me and Marvel. I didn't feel the
he's not awesome.
How do you say?
He's not very fleshed out in the comics. He's not big in the his comic shit isn't all that. He's definitely cooler in the movie. I'll give you that. And Blade wasn't all that out of a character, but I think that's why he did well.
Yeah.
Because that's not a Blade. Like I can say that, all right, Blade made his money, cool. For me personally, that's just a I love martial arts. But Blade didn't do a lot of martial arts.
That's his whole thing. He's a martial artist vampire. He's got
but when you read the comics, it's like, all right, they tell the story that he's been alive for thousands of years, but then they don't really actually go back 1,000 years ago to show how he trained. I haven't seen it. Maybe they do. I haven't seen, like with Batman, you see the story of him.
I didn't know he was that old. I thought he was I thought he was turned in the 70s or something.
Years old.
Yeah, I thought he was turned in the.
Well, there's different variants. There's different variants of Blade. Like there's some that say that he's not thousands. Thousands is an exaggeration. Hundreds. He's hundreds of years old, and that he like lived. Because he's also supposed to be quote unquote a Haitian vampire.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, guys. I got to be going back to work, though. I really appreciate you letting me chop it up.
No, you good, man. Because actually, we do have to wrap it up. I didn't realize it's 10:03. I was supposed to be done by 10. But guys, listen, we've had a fucking sick ass conversation as always. I really appreciate all y'all coming, man. As always, man. Thank you guys so much. And you guys know we'll be back here again every Monday and Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all always welcome. And again, man, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Nice meeting everybody.
Yep.
Y'all be safe, man. Good night.
All right.
Peace.
Good night. Peace.
Peace.